It's the Orioles on Masson, and Birdland welcomes the Yankees to town. First time this season the Orioles have seen the Yankees, and they hope the Yankees will keep playing just the way they are. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Like Showalter has said, it's not only who you play, but when you play them. For the New York Yankees right now, they're in a bit of a turmoil. They are not playing very good baseball. As you'll see tonight, a number of guys in their lineup simply are not hitting. Their pitching has not been good, particularly their starters. They can't get to the end of that bullpen, which is probably the strongest part of their team right now. And the Orioles hope all of that continues tonight. However, you keep looking for a turnaround when you got a ball club that's really facing a line from their GM where I want this bloodletting to stop. For the Orioles, it's about the injuries. What are you going to do with J.J. Hardy out maybe 4 to 6 weeks? Well, the Orioles have to decide where you're going to play Manny Machado. Manny Machado tonight is going to stay right where he was, third base. You got Flaherty, who's been called back up to play in the infield. You take a look at how many games have been played at the major league level with the changes that Buck Showalter's got to consider. Manny Machado at shortstop, only 9. Flaherty at third base, only 52. Now, Alvarez has played 551, but he's not really a third baseman anymore, but he can play there. But, Jim, the questions, even after tonight's ball game, will remain on who's going to play where, when.
Well, you're right, Ed. And the one thing we know, Buck Showalter wants to have the best defensive club that he could have out there. So Alvarez, better known for the bat, went from third base with the Pirates to first, still made a bunch of errors. Yannish is probably your best choice at shortstop, except his wife is going to have her pregnancy induced during the week, and he's not on the 40-man roster. But, I guess if you're the Yankees, you've lost 5 in a row. Do you want to face this team without Hardy and Britton? Britton's still not available, the Oriole closer. And, of course, if you're the Orioles, you want to face the Yankees when they're really struggling. They're averaging 2.7 runs on the road. But, we've been around the game a long time. I don't think you take anything for granted. The best team's going to win. The Orioles have lost 2 in a row after winning the first 2 against Chicago. So, the White Sox came in winning 6 in a row. You're wondering, the Yankees have lost 5 in a row. How's this all going to play out? But I think tonight, Gary, probably the biggest game because the Orioles have their #1 guy, Tillman, on the mound. Tillman
on the mound against a ball club that the GM says are going to be some changes made if they don't win and win right away. How's that all play out? That's what makes this game so great. Yankees and the Orioles. First pitch coming up. On Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. Day of showers here in the Baltimore area. Overcast skies. There was actually a little sunshine a few minutes ago. Very comfortable here at the ballpark. And for the Orioles tonight, first chance to see the Yankees, their lineup will look like this: Ellsbury, Gardner, and A-Rod, Teixeira, McCann, and Beltran, Castro, Gregorius, and Headley. A-Rod, most games of any of these Yankees against the Orioles. There you see just some of the career numbers.
And Chris Tillman coming off what I, in talking to him, said, I thought that was about as good a game as I've ever seen you pitch down in Tampa. He said, well, I spun off, but you know, he had 4 pitches going. The velocity was really good. They didn't have any idea. You couldn't eliminate any one pitch. So again, he's pitching very well. You know, this is a guy that started out 2-7 last year, ended up 11-11. So the numbers have come down dramatically. You can see he's a fly ball pitcher. Velocities come up, using the slider more, also the curveball and the changeup. You know, he's hard to run on. And of course, he knows that. And you look at games like this, Gary, it doesn't matter if they've lost 5 in a row. It's really what happens tonight for both of the teams. And you know, this is a guy, Chris Tillman, who I think people forget. In 2 years ago, 20 out of 21 starts, his last 21 starts, 3 runs or less, and looks like he's back at that point where he might be able to do that.
Some amazing turnaround numbers for Chris Tillman coming in, dropping the average from 267 last year to that 211 this year. Slugging percentage is down 100 points from last year. His pitchers per innings pitched, that is down a pitch and a half. That's significant, obviously, as to the length he can go. So we'll see if he can continue those kind of numbers tonight. He is against the Yankees, lifetime 6-6. Here at Camden Yards, though, he's pitched really well against them with a 3-2 record here in this ballpark. Here is Jacoby Ellsbury to lead it off. 243 lifetime hitter against Tillman with 1 home run. Infield plays in. Pitch on the way, and it'll be taken for a strike. Ryan Flaherty on the edge of the grass at third base. Manny Machado getting the start at short. Will the Yankees try and bunt on Flaherty, who's not had many number of games this year, at least, at third base? We'll see. Pitch is going to be taken away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the one thing about Ellsbury, I mean, he is the table setter. They scored 7 runs but gave up 8 Sunday Night Baseball against the Red Sox as they got swept. He got 2 doubles.
That ball will be put in the air to left center field. Jones got the break. Adams there. 1 out.
Yeah, take a look at the Oriole defense, and it is different because of the injury to Hardy, Rickard, Jones, Trumbo. That's your outfield. Flaherty, Machado, who's the Gold Glover, but over at third, Scope, Davis, and then Matt Wieters, another Gold Glover.
Well, Ryan Flaherty certainly has been super utility player, working in the outfield for the Orioles and playing it well. A lot of work at second base, obviously, especially when Jonathan Scope was out. He's worked at third base, sometimes just to give a break when Manny has to go to short. He was down in the minors at Norfolk. Now he's been recalled. He never stays down very long, does he?
No. He was so anxious he got up 8 times and got 12 hits to get back. No. You know, I was talking to him on the field and I said, so how much shortstop have you played this year? And he said, really not a lot. A little bit in spring training. So much more comfortable at third or second.
Pitch will be taken by Gardner again. Flaherty's moved in. He's on the grass at third base now. So he's inviting these leadoff hitters who've got some speed to go ahead and try and bunt. If you think you want to do that here tonight and test me, I'm ready. Gardner, 242 lifetime average against Chris Tillman. Right-hander's pitch, that's down the line in right field. That one's going to stay fair. Hits midway up the wall, played nicely by Trumbo. His throw cut off, and it'll be a double for Gardner. Nobody has fewer doubles around Major League Baseball than the Yankees, who just added one.
Well, you know, in New York, if you play the wall right, this might have just been a long single. 89. I mean, we have seen Tillman with much better velocity early on, so this is pretty hittable. That's exactly what Brett Gardner does. Trumbull gets to it, but Gardner coming out of the box, a ball you pull, you get out of the box. Well, it's going to be an easy double.
So a double for Gardner will give A-Rod an opportunity. And who would have thought that at this point in the season it would be A-Rod who would in large part be carrying the offense of this Yankee team, not the younger players, not the other veterans, but Alex Rodriguez, DH, batting third, and he's put up big numbers against Tillman, 6 for 13 with 4 home runs. While the average may not be high, the 5 home runs and the 12 RBIs have made a significant difference for this Yankee team that is struggling so much offensively.
Well, he had 5 on Sunday night, 6 for his last 14 with 3 home runs. And
outside, pretty big lead by Gardner. He hustles back to the bag. Well, the Yankees are hitting only .203 with runners in scoring position. Another one of their low numbers. That is 13th in the American League. Joe Girardi's ball club. 6 games out, 8 wins, 15 losses. A road trip on which they so far are 1-5 and have lost 5 in a row. 1 ball, 1 strike count, and that's fouled off. Piece of Wieters as it went by, but off the equipment. 1-2.
Almost everybody watches films, and if you watch films of Chris Tillman and you looked at the latest game, that was the one down in Tampa Bay, you would have seen that the slider is a big part of his repertoire. And it's a pitch he would occasionally throw, but you know, his spine angle, in other words, the way he throws the slider this year, far superior to years past.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Real big lead for Gardner at second base. And that will be followed outside for a ball. Chris Tillman coming off the Tampa Bay game where he gave up no runs, 2 hits in 6 2/3 innings. He retired 8 straight in that ball game in the 5th through the 7th inning. It was just an excellent start. Had a career high 9 strikeouts in that ball game. 2-2 to Rodriguez. A-Rod will chop that one foul, making him work here in this at bat. Rodriguez's numbers against right-handers right now are really bad. He's had 3 hits in his last 30 at bats against right-handed pitching, and he's hitting .154 off righties so far this year. That is the 7th lowest in the majors.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that they talking about the Yankees, the last 10 starters they faced, 8 have been left-handers, and they don't have to worry about that with the Orioles. They do not have a left-handed starting pitcher, and that's giving them fits.
Yeah. 2-2 delivery on the way to him, and that's going to miss away.
Yeah, so there's your slider.
Tillman working carefully to Rodriguez.
And it really, you know, the Yankees are looking for big innings. You know, obviously they're looking for big innings because they got a couple on Sunday night, but their pitching staff gave up 8. And then maybe this is one of those situations because, as you mentioned, when you're, you know, 4 home runs and 6, you know, and you're hitting the way A-Rod, he's going to pitch to him very carefully. But you got to worry about Teixeira on deck.
3-2 delivery off speed pitch, right field. Trumbo was playing over to center. Long run will get there, makes the catch, and the runner halfway will not move up. Gardner was 3/4 of the way down to third base on that, so he doesn't pick up a base on it, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, nice place by Mark Trumbo running that ball down in the corner.
Got a long way to go. Our Jeep inside the numbers.
Well, there you go, and you could get, you know, they're better at home and the record's better, but they don't pitch well on the road. They don't score well on the road. They don't do a lot of things particularly good on the road, and that's why they're 3-7.
Here is Mark Teixeira. Teixeira's got a 9 for 23 lifetime against Tillman. First inning this season has been the one where Chris has struggled a bit, so he gets through the first inning, settles in. He's usually in pretty good shape for the next 4 or 5 innings of the ball game. That'll be foul, tipped into the mitt. Chris, in the first innings this year, hitters have gone 6 for 20, 300 batting average. He's allowed 3 first inning runs, but then you go to the second inning through 5th inning and hitters are hitting 142, so a significant difference after the first for Tillman. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery, a check swing on a pitch inside to him that he really didn't want to go after. That one ate him up.
Yeah, we have seen in years past where it would take 3-4 innings for Chris Tillman to get to 92, 93. That pitch in on the fist at 93. But that started opening day. I mean, he only pitched 2 innings because of the rain delays. There were 2 of them, 2 hours and 50 minutes, but velocity much improved in 2016.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery. Teixeira goes after it and he's gone. So Tillman survives a 1-out double, leaving Gardner out there. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. The Orioles lineup coming up. together. They got a pretty good shot right there. He was dancing up a storm during the break. Take a look at the Orioles lineup, brought to you by Southwest Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Record: Machado and Jones, Davis, Trumbo and Wieters, Alvarez, Scope and Flaherty. Alvarez last 5, a .500 average.
So Luis Severino out of the Dominican Republic, second to Willie. First full year if he pitches a little bit better. A lot of fastballs, averages about 95 miles per hour. Hard slider about 89. Changeup's even hard, about 86, 87. You can see the numbers. Much different than last year when he came up in August. I think August 15th, went 5-3. ERA of under 3 runs a game. So righties, look at that number. They're hitting .459. Lefties over 300.
It's unbelievable numbers, aren't they?
They really are. I mean, he's only 22 years old. But he's got an arm. He's just not making a whole lot of good pitches. And again, I mean, rushed to the big leagues. You know, last year he started at Double-A. He was 2-2. Then he went to Triple-A, 7-0. But he came up here and pitched extremely well.
Joey Rickard leading it off. 1-0 delivery on the way. Orioles leadoff batter will take that one on the inside corner for a strike. So the second month of the miracle start for the Orioles surprise player of the year. Buck Showalter obviously could not be happier with the production. That'll catch the inside corner for a strike. Watch Severino tonight to see whether or not we see a slider. He had a good one last year that worked. He has not had a slider this year that he's been able to control. And that leaves you with a fastball, and those are hit.
Well, you're hitting off 95 anyway, so if you get the slider, I mean, he threw one to Rickard. It was a back door. I don't think he was trying to do it. It's just he got around it a little bit. But if you're hitting off 95 and the slider at 87, 88 in the middle of the plate, it becomes very hittable. Speeds up the bat.
2-ball, 2-strike count on Rickard. Right-hander's delivery down the line and right, and that will end up in the seats. He does not have a record against the Orioles. Has pitched in only 1 game against the O's. No decision. It was pitched here at Camden Yards. He gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, and 7.
Yeah, a couple of home runs. Manny and Nolan Reimold, who swinging the bat well, but did not start tonight.
2-2 down to first base, right off the end of the bat. Teixeira, not an easy play, gets it for the out. Well, that'll bring up the player of the month in the American League. First Oriole to do it since Chris Davis did in 2013, and that is Manny Machado. Just magnificent numbers all over the place among the leaders. He had a .344 average for the month, 20 runs, 10 doubles, 7 home runs, and there is where he ranks in all those categories.
Yeah, and then loves to hit here at Camden Yards. Those numbers, of course, it seems like he loves to hit everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, well, he's a young superstar. He could do so many things. 5-tool player. 5 tools. Can you hit for an average? Yes. Can you hit for power? Yes. Can you run a little bit? Yes. Can you have a great arm? Yes. And what else?
Glove.
The glove. Only one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your 5 tools.
1-0 count. Severino's delivery. Away. They check. Nope.
So that's your slider that you were talking about. And, you know, again, if you're Manny, and the other thing about him is that best high ball hitter on the team, the best ability to hit the ball to all fields. He can hit line drives like a left-handed pull hitter to the opposite field.
2-0 delivery to him that will catch the outside corner. Manny did have the home run, a 1 for 3. The only time he has faced Severino. Severino's just 22 years old. He is still learning the ropes. 2-ball, 1-strike count. And he fooled on that one. For him, that's an off-speed pitch at 88 miles an hour.
Well, take a look at your Mercedes-Benz pitch track. This is what you were talking about, Gary, the slider. So if you'll throw it when you're behind in the count, and it was 2 balls and 1 strike, you will throw it anytime all night long.
2-2 delivery on the way, and that's up and in. Severino knows that this start is important for him. Ivan Nova's in the bullpen just waiting for a chance to be in the rotation. And they're taking a long look at his performance tonight as to whether or not he stays even with the big ball club. And that one will miss outside. And a walk picked up.
Yeah, take a look at the Yankees defense. Gardner, Ellsbury, Beltran.
And then around the infield, Headley, Gregorius, Castro comes over from the Cubs to Shera, and then the veteran Brian McCann doing the catching. Well, you're right, because when you get a young pitcher like this and your team is 8-15, he has options.
Yeah.
So, not only the Yankees, but any team. And he may, long term, he's going to pitch in the big leagues, but maybe he needs a couple of starts back down at Scranton, their AAA facility, to get not only his stuff, but his confidence.
Adam Jones takes it.
See, that's a strike, Gary, but it's called a ball because McCann went inside and the ball kind of went pretty much down the middle of the plate, but the umpire went inside with him. Alfonso Marquez doing the umpiring. So if you don't hit your spots, it's tough to get the close pitches.
1-0 count. Manny Machado lead at first base. Adam will take the pitch down low. Well, in that regard, Jim, Marquez, the home plate umpire of all umpires, according to tendencies as graded by teams, he is the most favorable umpire to hitters.
Boy, you just did.
You have got to throw.
Yeah, he threw strike one, and because McCann was on the other side of the plate, didn't get the pitch.
The hitters can wait. 2-0 delivery taken outside. Not that these are close, and the count goes to 3-0.
And also Severino is one of these tough guys to umpire behind, because again, he's not going to be, if we look at the glove tonight, pay attention to that. The ball's not going to be around the glove very often. So you're going to have, because of the movement and the velocity, McCann's always going to be reaching for it, because he doesn't know where it's going either. He's trying to frame it. It's not like you can just subtly bring it in, because the ball's got too much life. So he's a tough guy to catch. Sometimes, of course, if you can throw enough strikes, it's advantageous because of the movement and the velocity.
3-0 delivery on the way. Adam taking that one is going to be there for a strike. Adam taking a look down at third as to whether or not the Orioles want to run here. Severino, there's been one stolen base against him, but only one chance. You got Manny over there, and you got a young pitcher who's struggling, so you may not want to risk an out on the base paths, at least not early in the ballgame. 3-1 delivery on the way, and that one in the air to center field. Gardner. He's got it. Runner tags, goes halfway, and goes back, but he forced the throw. And there are 2 down. Take a look at our Express stat of the day. Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For locations, visit ywaitinther.com.
So there are the villains, in a sense. McHugh had a terrific year for Houston, the veterans of Peavy, and then Jorge De La Rosa. The amazing thing, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, Gary, was coming into the game, Severino had thrown 46 pitches put in play and only 8 in the air. And yet they're still hitting 400 off him.
A lot of line drives and hard ground balls.
So, yeah. You would think normally that's kind of what you want. Want a young pitcher. He's not giving up a whole lot of home runs. He's only given up 2 in his first 4 starts.
Chris Davis with a runner at first. Full shift is on here. Chris goes after it, fouls it off the other way. Chris with a 4-game hit streak, 6 for 16, a home run, 4 RBIs during the streak that he is in right now. You talk about a shift. I'm not sure we've seen a third baseman play that far over. In this case, it's Gregorius, the shortstop, way over there.
Basically, if you want to bunt, go ahead.
Pitch will be taken inside, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. And you can see why the numbers on Severino in pitches per inning pile up. He averages over 18.3 pitches per inning. That's about 2 or 3 more than you'd like per inning. 2-1 pitch to Davis. Got that one to drop off the table. 2-2.
Yeah, there's the slider that you were talking about, and once again he's thrown it when he's behind, and it's close enough for Chris Davis to chase it.
Severino with a 2-ball 2-strike count. There are 2 down. Outfield, of course, deep and bunched to right field. 2-2 delivery. Davis went after it. Didn't want to, but could not pull back. So Severino gets the strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. PNC Bank, MASSonSports.com blog recap. Ron Cabaco's got Manny Machado named AL Player of the Month, and the numbers that go with it. Steve Bileski, can the Orioles withstand the loss of J.J. Hardy at short? And Brian Eller, Orioles are leaving a lasting impact on the Sarasota community. Check them out. All of those and more. It's brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Tillman back to work. It'll be McCann, Beltran, Castro. Brian McCann, 3 for 15, lifetime off Chris Tillman. And will take the pitch. It'll miss inside for a ball. Very little breeze blowing tonight. Clouds moving in and out. 61 degrees when we started the ball game. That pitch is going to be inside. Oh, McCann trying to use the numbers in this ballpark to his advantage. They've been good for him. He carries a .304 lifetime average here. A couple of home runs at Camden Yards.
Yeah, his first year, Gary, which was 2 years ago, he had 23 home runs. I think the only first one he hit on the road was in September, right here. Loves to hit at Yankee Stadium, and if you're a left-handed hitter, who wouldn't? 37 of his 52 home runs, and
4 in a row.
Pulled the first 2, tried to throw a changeup and a fastball count, a hitter's count, and then ends up walking. The only good news, if you're going to walk somebody, you want to walk a slow guy.
He did that. Success.
I'm saying if you walk a guy.
Yeah.
But even though they put the shift on, it does open up some holes.
Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, because Chris Davis, he's going to play, step off. He'll play right in front of the bag at first base. Try to take that hole away a little bit.
Now the shift is on, and tonight with Flaherty playing at third base, he moves over. So actually he's the one who will cover second to take a double play throw, which obviously is at an angle he's used to, having played a lot of second base. Carlos Beltran, 2 for 10 lifetime off Chris Tillman, and takes the pitch in there for a strike. One of the many struggling Yankees. 39-year-old out in right field, last 10 games hitting $143, 5 hits, 35 at bats, and all singles. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Double play depth on the infield, hit where they weren't. That'll be a base hit to center. Jones coming over to get it, stopping at second base. McCann. Oh, the Yankees get the first 2 on, and we'll take a look at our Maryland Live Casino Inside the Numbers.
Well, there's Chris Tillman, and we were talking about last year, and again, I started out. Eventually, they lost 6 in a row, 2-7, and then all of a sudden turned it on. Ended up 11-11 last year. Everything came down. Average, home runs, ERA. Kind of got back to where he was the year before, when he won 13 games.
So now the Orioles will play Flaherty even with the bag. Their hottest hitter, the Yankees, Starlin Castro. He's got a 4-game hit streak coming in. Double play depth and nobody out. And Castro will take the pitch for a strike. Castro proving to be a very important acquisition on this team. He hit .265 last year, played 151 games with the Cubs, and 11 home runs, 69 RBIs, acquired by the Yankees in a deal that sent right-hander Adam Warren and another player, Brendan Ryan, in the deal.
See, that's what I was talking earlier, that I thought Tilly pitched a great game down in Tampa, but he said every once in a while he'll do exactly what he did. He almost throws the ball 3-4 feet outside. And he said he just can't quite stay closed enough, and you can kind of see it a little bit today. He's not exactly hitting Matt Wieder's glove. He's getting into some hitters counts. And then again, at 12 for 25, you got the hottest Yankee up there other than maybe Alex Rodriguez.
1-1 delivery to him, taken. That's going to miss down low.
So you throw a good pitch if a guy's really chasing. I mean, even Beltran, Gary, as you said, 2-0. He wasn't trying to hit a home run, hit it right back up the middle. It's tougher to get those guys out because they're able to stay on all your pitches. You want guys that are trying to pull the ball.
Castro's been their best with runners in scoring position so far this year. He's put up a .300 average. He will foul that one away and not get around, and the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It will be interesting to see how the Yankee players respond to a flurry over the weekend of writings and comments from their general manager and from their manager about how poorly they are playing, how things can't go on. We got to stop the bloodletting. There'll be changes made.
Well, you can change all of that just by playing better.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, you know, whether you can do that or not, I mean, we're going to have to see.
2-2, a chopper. Jonathan Scope, they got to hustle this one, and a great throw made to get him. Solid double play, and it's the arm of Manny Machado that got that done.
Now the other thing is, I mean, right here you're going to see Scope come get it. He comes in about 2 steps, so he gets a little bit quicker, and then just like we see J.J. Hardy, you know, get it to him. There's your 4 to 6, and then there is a very, very strong arm. You know, you take the best throwing arm from third base, and now you move it at shortstop, and again out by just enough.
Big play. Those double plays change the complexion of any inning. Didi Gregorius now runner at third base. McCann, but there are 2 down. And Gregorius on a check swing and around on it, and it will be a swinging strike called.
Well, again, you always talk about starting pitchers. Sometimes it's a roller coaster ride. You know, some innings are better than others, but how about for the Yankees? I mean, they get a 1-out double. You think maybe they're going to get something to go. They got Rodriguez, who owns Tillman. They don't score in the first, and if Tillman gets out of this inning.
0-1 chopper in the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, they're going to say, oh, here we go again.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't care how positive you try to be. As we said, unless you change it by getting a clutch hit. And you made a great point. I mean, they're hitting .203 with runners in scoring position. The Orioles are at .319. Well, again, lately it's a struggle, and then when you score 7 on Sunday night, your staff gives up 8.
0-2 delivery on the way, ground ball to the middle, and there's a big hit.
Yep.
That is a big 2-out RBI. Gregorius will pick it up, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Chris is going to hang his head. He said, why did I throw him 3 straight curveballs? And again, if you're going to triple up, check out where this is. It's more in the middle of the plate, so it's hittable. It just stays up enough. I'm sure he didn't mean to throw it here, but he does. And Gregorius, just like Beltran, hits it back up the middle where nobody's playing.
It's just the 5th run batted in for Didi Gregorius. McCann started it out with a walk, and wouldn't you know, he's the one to score. Shift put back on. Here is Chase Headley, and you talk about hitters who are struggling. Maybe none more so in this lineup than Headley. With that 156 batting average, you can't buy an extra base hit or an RBI at this point. It has just been a tremendous struggle, and that is where Tillman would like to keep it. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss up high, and again Chris falls behind. 2-0 count. Last 8 games, just a 111 batting average for him.
Well, the one thing about managing in New York, if you're Joe Girardi, the writers help you manage.
Down to first, right on the bag, Chris Davis, and that will do it. Yankees, however, pick up a run off that leadoff walk. A couple of hits, 1 left on base. Wins page, a couple of struggling offenses. Blue Jays loses a 5 of 7. They scored only 21 runs, hitting 171 with runners in scoring position over that 7-game span. The Rays struggling, hitting 202, 7 runs scored, losing 3 of the last 4. They've scored only 77, fewest in the majors. While the Red Sox have gotten it turned around, they have won 7 of their last 8. Their .308 average, 51 runs, has amounted to 6.4 runs per ball game during that 8-game stretch.
Yeah, their 22 runs scored more than they've given up. So, of course, the White Sox also with a nice little year going, but they've got 25 runs more than they've given up, mainly because they have the best pitching in baseball to this point.
Yep. Here is Mike Trumbo, and will take the pitch for a ball. Trumbo continues his great start with a 6 home run, 19 RBI number, .330 batting average. By the way, Pablo Sandoval, Red Sox, did have surgery on that shoulder, out for the rest of the year. 1-0 pitch on the way. Severino will catch the inside corner. Our Jeep inside the numbers.
So some way, somehow getting on base. 0 for 4 going into his last at bat on Sunday. And got a single off the glove of the shortstop. Even though the Orioles ended up losing 7-1, and there's that backdoor slider. And again, Mark's a little bit frustrated because a lot of times you throw that front hip slider, but I'm not sure he's really doing it. It's just when you throw 95, he is not a pitcher at this age. He's a thrower.
That's right.
And that can work because his stuff can be overwhelming.
Severino, 1 ball, 2 strike count on Trumbo. Mark will take that one outside. Mark is 7th in the league in hitting coming into today's games. 19 RBIs. That ranks him 4th. Cano's got 24 to lead the league. Mark's up there. He and Manny Machado both. Machado leads in hits, and Mark Trumbo in the league is tied for 4th. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Trumbo is a candidate for Player of the Month. That one is long gone. Way back left field, and goodbye home run. And the Orioles tie it up on a Mark Trumbo, number 7.
I'll tell you, watch this man not only hitting games, but you watch him hit in batting practice, and the ball does have a different sound. Adam Jones said today, he said he makes it look like a golf ball. The farther it gets away, the smaller it gets, and that was one of those home runs.
Enormous power, and he's showing it off in a ballpark that should be very receptive to him for the entire year.
Yeah, he came into the weekend.
That's going to be up the middle for a base hit. Waiters going after the very next pitch, picks up a single.
So take a look at this golf ball as it heads towards the second deck. Doesn't get there. Look how quick the swing is. I mean, bad head to the ball. That's the key to hitting. And then when you have the kind of strength that Mark has, ball can go a long way. And that does tie it up.
Trumbo gets his 2nd home run at Camden Yards this year, his 7th overall. Yeah, Severino surrenders his 3rd.
Gary, we had a number that we were given. He had only hit 1 home run here in 18 games until the weekend series with the White Sox. But you're right. You got to think that fly ball hitter in this park got a chance to hit a bunch of them this year. Not only here, but everywhere.
Pedro Alvarez, even though the number says 216, right now a dangerous batter in that lineup as he started to pick his game up in the final week of the month. Alvarez to be followed by Scope. Shift is on in the infield. Alvarez back of the DH role. Severino's pitch is going to miss outside. 2 big power bats right there. 107 the hit speed on that one by Trumbo, and of course Chris Davis and he can talk about power together because they both understand it. 7 home runs for Davis, 7 home runs for Manny Machado, 7 home runs for Mark Trumbo, and 35 league leading home runs to the Orioles.
And then Adam Jones playing with a little rib pull, so swinging the bat better over the weekend. He will join the fray at some point.
2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss inside. So Severino falls behind on Alvarez, 3-0. There is Adam.
Yeah, Pedro got to play the last 2 games in Tampa. Got a couple of doubles, multi-hit games, and then his first game against the White Sox got 3 hits. So you're right about heating up.
And he's got some power. And he takes Severino. Kind of holds his hands out, frustrated, surrendering his second walk. Our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Sharon Todd, Brooklyn Park, 500 for being selected, 500 for every Orioles home run hit tonight, so you're already up to 1,000. You can play a home run Rich's scratch offs, win up to 50,000, or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Go to ndlottery.com/baseball. Larry Rothschild, pitching coach, out, trying to settle down his 22-year-old right-hander.
Yeah, you can see about. Well, you'd like to be a little bit better than that, obviously. You'd like to, maybe be 66% strikes and 33% balls on any given night. But you're right about Alfonso Marquez. He's not getting any close pitches. The borderline pitches are going to be balls. It's not that he's a bad umpire. You got to be where the glove is. And I'm not sure this youngster can do it. Now, it doesn't mean he can't pitch well because of the stuff. Sometimes you can stuff your way through a game.
Well, let's see what he does here with nobody out. The Orioles have Wieters at second, Alvarez on at first base, Jonathan Scope, and that'll go off the mask and back into the screen. Scope has also gotten it turned around, went through a little funk third week of the previous month. Now he's got a 5-game hit streak going with the 5 for 17, the home run, 3 RBIs. He's also scored 3 runs in that span.
Yeah, he threw a 2 for 30, and there's his hitting instructor, Scott Coolbot. He said, hey, get ready to hit.
In the air and an inside out to right field. Beltran, runner tagging at second, will not go. Into the cutoff man, and Scope is retired for the first out. Space is still available in 2 of the sessions for this Sunday special Mother's Day catch on the field. Don't miss your family's very special chance to be on the field here at Camden Yards before the O's Oakland game at 1:35. Ticket packages are on sale that include game tickets, on the field access for a unique session of catch. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Orioles Charitable Foundation. For tickets, go to Orioles.com/catch. Great day. Mom's Day coming up Sunday, and a chance for a little game of catch before the ball game on the field. Welcome back. Ryan Flaherty goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Ryan back with the Orioles in a tough send down. Buck Showalter loves having him on the ball club because he is so versatile and is very happy to have him back with the team.
He hit over 400 at AAA, and he'll even be happier to have him on the team if he can do something here. Of course, that's not always easy to do.
First and second.
See, there's your,
will be taken.
Yeah, there's your changeup at 89. Some guys, that's their fastball. Gary, I pitched when I came up. I pitched a little bit like Luis Severino, and I think the one thing Larry Rothschild touched on it. It is one pitch at a time, but don't aim the ball. Let it go. It's not going to change anything if you. There's another changeup. This time for a strike.
Goes down to 88 on that one. Ryan playing in his 5th game with the Orioles, and played 5 games at AAA that Jim was talking about. 360th major league game for Ryan Flaherty. And he started third base. Wieters at second, Alvarez off first.
There's 3 changeups in a row, and he eyed the third one. That was a pretty good changeup, exactly where you want to throw it. Look at those numbers. Runners on, runners empty.
Gee. Just in scoring position, 429. Batting average by opponents.
Yeah, 9 for 21. And most of them on the ground.
Yeah. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Flaherty will take it in. 95-mile-an-hour pitch, and that'll send McCann back out to have a word. He too trying to get Severino under control here. Larry Rothschild with the arms crossed over there. Yankees were touted preseason about that great bullpen. It is at the end of it, Betances and Miller and Chapman to come later, but you got to get there, and they've not been able to do that.
And then how about when you get to Betances, and over the last 10 days he's thrown 3 big-time home runs. 2 in the Boston series. One on Sunday night to Christian Vasquez, who's known more for his defensive ability as a catcher for the Red Sox.
So they really need Severino to be in this ball game.
I thought it was put very succinctly. They said Betances came into the weekend, or maybe the middle of the week, as one of the best late inning pitchers, and then now all of a sudden the question mark. I don't really think it's that. I mean, he does throw 97 with a great curveball.
3-2 pitch on the way is fouled off. Well, the Yankee bullpen is 13th in ERA. You compare that to the great Orioles pen, which is second. Then you look at the starters. The Yankee starters have the highest ERA in the American League, 5.16 for their starter ERA. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Flaherty trying to untie this ball game. 1-1. Trumbo got the homer to lead off the inning. Shattered bat, popped up, shortstop, and the play made by Gregorius.
Okay, so a lot of pitches, but didn't try to throw it up and in. But that at 95, 96 miles per hour is going to get a lot of hitters out, and that's where he was able to get it. When he pitched that game that you talked about against the Orioles in September, Ramon Martinez, brother of Pedro, he works for the Orioles. I mean, won 133 games, and I think only lost something like 88. 120 games. Terrific pitcher from the Dominican Republic. I said, where did they find this guy for $225,000? He said, you got to go up into the mountain, the little towns, and that's where the Yankees found Luis Severino.
Severino's pitch. Rickard fouls it off. Talk about high numbers. The Orioles have one right there. You get 2 out runner in scoring position number like that, you're going to win some ball games.
And they have. I mean, he started out 7-0. Since then, 7-10.
And you see the Yankees down there, 27th in the majors in those situations. Rickard's in that situation right now. 0-1 count, 2 down. Fouled off third base side into the seats.
Gary, I think that was a changeup with tremendous movement. So for one thing, for a guy that came in at 0-3 with an ERA of closer to 7 runs than it is 6.5, not afraid to use all his pitches, and I'm sure that's the McCann influence behind the plate.
Trying to develop him into a pitcher and not just a thrower at the age of 22, and doing it at the major league level. 0-2 delivery. Rickard will pump that one down the line in right field. It's heading foul, and right up against the sidewall. And
Joe Girardi, of course, who manages the Yankees, he was a former catcher, you know, as Tony Pena, the first base coach, and he said, hey, 1 pitch at a time, and that's really, you have to be in the moment, whether you're hitting or whatever you're doing in life. And you know, I think a lot of times when you're as young as Severino is, and you've never really gone through failure, he was 23-11 in the minor leagues, so it's not like he had a whole lot of failure down there.
And a 2.89 last year up here.
Yeah, and I mean 2.33 runs a game in the minors coming up. So rushed to the big leagues, and he was able to go 5-3 with that low ERA you talked about.
0-2 delivery on the way. Rickard will chop that one towards first base. This could be a race to the bag. Severino trying to get there, drop the ball. Leaders will stay at third. He took the turn. Severino had the mind to look back. You knew that was going to be trouble defensively because Severino didn't get a particularly big jump.
Yeah, and then you had the Rickard speed. So again, I mean, you know, he's trying to catch it, but also find the base. And because of the speed, I mean, he's not really getting over there very quickly, and it's going to be bang, bang. And you'd like to get there, find the ball, and get the bag. Couldn't do it. I'm not sure even if he had caught it, Gary, he was going to beat Rickard because he was so far. He usually try to take a direct line right to the bag. He was more towards second base.
Rickard's among the top 3 in infield hits. That one's going to be an error. That may get changed. But there are 2 down and the bases are loaded, and wouldn't you know it, here's Manny Machado. 2 down, sacks full. Machado puts it up in the air. First base to Shera, and he will put it away. And Severino really gets out of a jam. 1 run, a hit, an error. Orioles leave them loaded, but they tie the game. First batter up, Trumbo, launched one. 1-1. Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the Bob Bell Automotive Group, driven to be the best. And by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer. Sunset time. A little breeze. But really not enough to affect balls put up in the air yet anyway. Chris Tillman had his streak of scoreless innings ended with that run in the second. He'd gone 12 2/3 innings without giving up a run. Gave up one after that leadoff walk. And we'll get the strike in to Jacoby Ellsbury. He flying out to center field. His first time up. Ellsbury threatening bunt. Flaherty comes in. Davis plays almost even with the bag at first. 0-1 lashed up in the air. Foul territory. Flaherty over. May have room. Does. And hangs on. Good play.
A little snow cone.
Almost lost it in the seats.
So I said when he went to the minors, he played most of the games on the road. I said 4 seasons. I said no, more like 1 season. But right there you can see in the web. And then maybe should I say the pocket, and then rolls to the web. It's kind of like catching it like with a pair of pliers at the end. Watch this.
Yankee fans being good sports.
Plier it. Yes.
They could have reached up and interfered there and didn't do it.
No, but it would have been an out anyway.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah, but you take a chance on that.
Yeah, of course. Remember Ben Affleck? He reached over into fair territory in Boston and they booed him.
Exactly. If he'd have been in Philly, it never would have come back.
Oh. Well, I mean, we played in the World Series here, but until I was behind the cage talking to Larry Boa when he managed the Phillies, he says, "You think New York's bad? You think this town's bad?" I said, "How about Philadelphia?" Apparently, they can be a little tough in Philly.
Yeah, hey, you take things seriously. Those are tough neighborhoods. Pitch is taken up and away. You want a cheesesteak, you got to battle. A 2-0 count on Gardner. Gardner had a double his first time up.
Oh, yeah.
Philly cheesesteak. Huh?
Yes.
The one that's upstairs. I can't remember the name of it. I know where it is. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way, and that's going to be taken inside. So Tillman falls behind a 3-0 on Gardner with A-Rod, and then Teixeira due up.
Yeah, Chris Tillman is trying to find his rhythm because, again, he's flying open, and that's why he's pulling balls, both the righties and especially the lefties. And Gardner can steal bases, even though yet to attempt to steal against Chris Tillman. 6th start. And if you keep getting behind people, you have to throw the ball more for the middle of the plate, and that's when they wait. That's when a team like the Yankees, they can go from struggling to having some success. And they do. I'm not sure lately when you're scoring as few as run, but they usually work the count pretty well.
3-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be outside. So Tillman surrenders his second walk. The other one scored. That was a leadoff walk. This one comes with one away. Gather your family and celebrate Mother's Day weekend at the ballpark. Saturday, the Birds, Oakland, 7:05. First 10,000 female fans 15 and over get the Orioles canvas tote presented by MLB Network. Then on Mother's Day, first 10,000 female fans 18 and over get the Orioles infinity scarf. And after the game Sunday, all kids 14 and under can run the bases. All coming up this weekend. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. A-Rod flied out to right. Will take the pitch, and it is going to be in there for a strike. Rodriguez now ranks 4th all-time, 692 home runs. Tops the American League all-time in the 2,076 RBI department. That one is fouled off the end of the bat. And Tillman going after a guy who's done damage against him with a 6 for 14.
So he notches it up a little bit at 93, 94. Yeah, I was on record last year. You can throw out all those numbers. The only thing that matters because of his track record of, the PEDs and whatever is what you can do for me now. And that same thing applies tonight and lately.
And he's done a lot.
Yeah, he has. And, to his credit.
Kind of amazing. Past that 40-year-old mark.
Yeah, he's going to turn 41 later in the summer, and coming off a 33 home run season after he missed about 16 months.
Gardner, good lead at first, not going. A-Rod will take the pitch, look back to make sure it was up, maybe in, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Yeah, he said this lately, and we talked about the numbers, 6 for his last 14 with 3 home runs. He said my swing's shorter, so I am a little more selective. I think maybe 2 weeks ago probably would have chased that fastball up and in.
Tillman in a good battle here, a 1-ball 2-strike count. Rodriguez goes after it and doesn't get it. 94 miles an hour, and the fans applaud the K.
Well, big time right here. All of a sudden now the velocity has come back. We're in the third. It's been a little spotty in and out tonight, but just rides it up to strike zone. Perfectly located.
Always a question here at Camden Yards, who gets booed the most, A-Rod or Teixeira? A-Rod just because he's A-Rod. Teixeira because he's from Annapolis.
And he didn't sign with the Orioles.
Sign with the Orioles. The shift is on. Gardner remains at first base.
Well, I mean, that's after he had been traded from Texas, who he did sign with, and then as a free agent signed with the Yankees. Never had a choice coming out of college.
No. Teixeira. 1-0 count. There are 2 down. Ball game tied at 1-1. Tillman's delivery to him. That one's towards the shift. Way out there. Nice throw made by Flaherty. Flaherty ended up being the second baseman on that play. He's been all over the place in shifts already in this ball game. Remember, he's playing third. You wouldn't know it from where that was made. Repeating page from Brian Cashman, the Yankees GM, on his Yankee team. From the New York Times, there's only so long you can allow it to go on before tinkering, but it just needs to stop. To come off a horrific month of April like we have, it is pretty hard to stomach. And Brian Cashman is traveling with the ball club along with a couple of other front office personnel to see what the Yankees are going to do here in Baltimore.
Yeah, you know, again, as I mentioned, everybody's giving him advice, and they go back to what 2005. You know, that was Michael Pineda, who's really been struggling. But they were 11-15. So what did they do? They called up Robinson Cano. They moved Tony Womack from second base to left field. They took Matsui from left to center. Bernie Williams kind of got benched in a DH. And they also called Ching Ming Wong up, who went on to win about 18 games every year.
Adam Jones up.
But is Cano? They have a Cano in their minor leagues?
No. So
Ching
Ming Wong?
No.
That's one of the problems. It's not as though the Yankees, apparently at least, have people waiting to move up and play.
And then there's Andrew Miller. The Orioles certainly saw him. He's signed to a 4-year deal. He's pitched very well when given the opportunity to close. The other thing is, like Headley, they go, oh, you got to bench Headley. They got a guy, Ronald Torreyes, and well, Headley's in the second year of a 4-year deal.
Well, the Orioles will take it all and hope they're catching him at the right time. Center field near the warning track. On it. Put away by Gardner. Jones, the long 400-foot fly ball out. Well, the day after the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com with promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, you alluded to the fact when we used to play the Yankees, when Goose Gossage, who's a Hall of Famer, was in the bullpen. Of course, he pitched the 7th, 8th, 9th. They said, don't be trailing going into the 7th, 8th, or 9th.
Line drive is hauled in off the bat of Chris Davis, trying to go the other way. D.D. Gregorius, the only one on that side of the field, was in the right place.
Yeah, the lonesome infielder. And again, nice little vertical leap. The Netherlands, and played a lot of basketball over there, but he got up.
That'll bring Trumbo up. Severino's got a chance for a clean inning here in the 3rd. Trumbo delivered the long ball, estimated at 428 feet, leading off the 2nd inning with his 7th home run of the season. Up now with 2 down and nobody on, Trumbo has collected his 9th career home run against the Yankees. He has done very well against New York pitching, a .317 lifetime average against the Yankees. That one's going to bounce around the plate. Last season was the 4th time in Mark's career where he had 20 or more home runs, and he certainly is starting out like he's going to make it a 5th time this year. 2-0 count with 2 away. They give him the gap in left center. Trumbo will take it. Severino's trying to work him inside, and that one's a strike.
Yeah, backup slider, and Mark thought it was high. Marquez, the home plate umpire, didn't. And again, not throwing it exactly where he wanted, but just over the plate. And that'll work if you're a stuffed pitcher at this point.
2-1 delivery down low.
There's the good slider. Hey, you want to see a bat speed right here? Boom, gone. And that's like 95 miles per hour, up and in. That'll get you talking to yourself a little bit.
He didn't even have to look.
No.
The sound told the story. 3-ball, 1 strike count on him. Trumbo waiting, will take it, and that one came back in on the corner, and the count goes to 3-2.
Hey, he was saying, we were talking about Mickey Hatcher, who was the major league hitting instructor when Mark came to the big leagues, and he said the one thing that the Angels did as he came through their minor league organization, they followed how he did against the best minor leaguers. Not just, you know, your numbers. How'd you do against the tough pitchers that coming up in the minors?
Trumbo will foul that one back.
And he got high grades. Mickey used to always say that. We really monitored the type of at bats he had. You know, where they 0-2 pitches, where, you know, when the other pitcher got ahead, where they, you know, pitchers, you know, the meatballs were in the middle of the plate, 2-0, 3-1. And he graded very high and got to the big leagues very young. And then, of course, had a lot of home runs. Drove in a lot of runs for the Angels.
3-2 delivery on the way, and a ground ball off the end of the bat will go to second. Castro will make the play over to Teixeira, and a clean inning for Severino. So the Tide side retired in order. It remains a 1-1 ball game.
Ball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com.
Well, a night where rain was anticipated. Still could, I guess, but it's a pretty comfortable night here at the ballpark. And a good ball game underway. 1-1, Chris Tillman. Orioles have done well with their right-hander on the mound against the Yankees. Orioles have won 8 of the 11 games Tillman has started against the Yankees since 2012. Trying to add to that number here tonight. He's gone 5-3 against the Yankees over that span. McCann leads it off, drew a walk, scored in the second inning. RBI single. Didi Gregorius picked it up. Trumbo's home run tied it up. And that will be their first strike at 81 miles an hour.
Well, starts him off with a curveball. McCann sits on a fastball and he throws him a change. And that's what he did down in Tampa. As Buck Showalter, the Orioles skipper, said, hey, they didn't have any idea what was coming, and there were really a lot of quality pitches.
1-1 thought about it.
Yeah, the fact that he has a slider, that was a good curveball, but his curveball last year he threw over for about 46% of the time. Kind of like probably where my percentage was. So if you have a slider and a changeup and a fastball, it just gives you more options.
2-1 pitch, shift on, and that will be fouled back by McCann. Beltran and Castro to follow for the Yankees, trying to get out of the cellar in the division. They are 6 games behind the Red Sox. The Orioles just a half game behind Boston. Red Sox have won 3 in a row. The Orioles have lost 2 in a row, and the Yankees have lost 5 in a row. And that looked pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of umpires, you would get that pitch. I mean, to Alfonso Marquez's credit, as you said, Gary, he makes you throw the ball over the plate. I mean, it's just like maybe an inch outside.
3-2 delivery by Tillman to him, and that one's chopped down to first base. Will it stay fair? No.
Chris Davis tried to get to it. Good 3-2 changeup, and I love that Paul O'Neill, who does some Yankees game, terrific hitter in his own right. What, he hit like 300, won a batting title 5 straight years for the Yankees. He said sometimes with umpires you take that 3-2 pitch and you hold your breath or to see whether he's going to call it or not.
You don't let anything go by that's close. 3-ball, 2-strike count. And missed inside.
Yeah, again,
so the third one.
One of those close pitches, you're just not going to get it with this umpire, and that's just the way he umpires.
So another leadoff walk. It was McCann who got the first one and scored. The Orioles and Yankees are going to continue this 3-game series tomorrow night and Thursday night. Each game 7:05. Help paint the park orange. See some great baseball. Get out and see this rivalry. Tickets start as low as $15. Good seats remain. Tickets at Orioles.com. Carlos Beltran. Base hit his first time up. Beltran will take that one for a strike. Tillman this season retiring 58% of leadoff batters. That's an area he'd like to get better at, and the Yankees have had 2 out of 4 on in this game. 0-1 pitch. Little roller. Davis fair goes to second. That's a big out. No relay to first. Not an easy play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Bordick in the opening did a great piece with Chris Davis about all the techniques, and this is one of them. How quickly do you get it? When you catch it, are you balanced? Do you know who's running? McCann going down to second, not very fast, and so you make a terrific point in the sense that you want a lead runner. They want guys in scoring position like last time, and that play by Davis keeps that from happening.
Strong arm, good throw. You got to be on the money.
And also, I mean, it takes some guts to know, because it's a tough play. If you have a fast runner, your window of opportunity, look how he comes and gets this. I mean, that's off balance. Snap throw. If you have a fast guy, the ball and the runner may get there at the same time. So he knew all of those things. And what, in about a second?
Well, you have to know in advance. That's the great lesson of any baseball coach can give the kids. If the ball comes to you, what are you going to do? 0-1 count. 1 away. Castro hit into a double play, a big one his first time up. Yankees had the first 2 on in the second inning. Could have had a bigger inning, but a double play limited it to just 1 run. 0-2 count on Castro. Castro, the regular second baseman now for this Yankee team. As after Robinson Cano left, question was who. Joe Girardi in his 9th season as the Yankees skipper, getting a real good ball player from Chicago in Castro.
A very good offensive player.
0-2 up.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, I mean, he moved from shortstop. Addison Russell was traded from Oakland, and he was a gifted shortstop playing every day, and so Castro moved over. They go to the playoffs last year, but again, they have a number of other people there, so he was expendable.
1-2 short lead at first for Beltran. No speed there, and way off balance on the 87-mile-an-hour delivery, 2 down.
You know, every once in a while you get away with a hanging slider, and that's what this is. Astros think it's going to break a little bit more. Look at it hang right in the middle of the plate, but the spin gets him. Just that little bit of movement.
So Castro is gone. Didi Gregorius, the RBI with a base hit in the 2nd inning. Gregorius is now 5 for 8 against Tillman.
And you know, Starlin Castro is going to go down the end of the bench and go, how did I ever miss that pitch? I'm hot. I was 12 for 25. I've hit in a double play and struck out. Come on.
Up high for a ball. Tillman has walked 3, struck out 3. Severino has walked 2, struck out 1. Gregorius 0 for 2. The base hit, rather. Castro, the 0 for 2.
Well, 3 straight curveballs, and he hit the 3rd one right back up the middle.
1-0 delivery on the way, and that one's back into the screen. So Tillman will even the count up at a ball and a strike. Talked about the Yankee series tomorrow night. Tyler Wilson, CC Sabathia, and then Kevin Gausman goes against Masahiro Tanaka in the 3rd game. 7:05 starts. 6:30 owes extra tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him. The other way, foul into the seats.
Yeah, Gregorius, who comes over from Arizona, real slow start, under 200 last April, low 230s in May, and then I remember reading something last year where Derek Jeter stopped by Yankee Stadium and said, "Hey, just relax."
And it worked.
Maybe it was not everybody can be like me. Get over 3,000 hits. Chill out. And then he really played well after that. Oh, see.
Got him. Laid that one in at the knees. Couple of strikeouts in a row here in the 4th inning. And a leadoff walk goes for naught. Home of the Orioles, also a destination for culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to an eclectic array of world-class cuisine. And you can enjoy it during the Sarasota Restaurant Week, June 1 through the 14th. Learn more about it at savorsarasota.com. Pretty night there. Matt Wieters will lead it off. Wieters, a base hit, stranded. Alvarez, and then Jonathan Scope. Those of you who really like to eat, the James Beard Awards are out. You want to find out who they are, go online and look up James Beard Awards for 2016.
4 different cities? Or
different cities, different restaurants, different sections of the countries. Top restaurant in the country, top chef in the country is selected by the James Beard Board, and usually some really great food if you are in that category of award winner.
If you're a foodie?
If you're a foodie. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that'll be taken for a strike at the knees. Now the defense shifts. Oop, they were going to shift. Now they don't. Headley was going to go on the other side of second base. Didi Gregorius took the reins and said, nope, back up. So he did.
Yeah, they're going to play where he got the base hit the last time.
And a swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt. McCann will come out to make the play, and it is a strikeout. Our PNC minor league report. Jonah Heim.
Well, again, another one of the young catchers, and as you can see, I mean, they like him. He's good defensively. High school pick out of New York. So Frederick, and that's your high A. Del Mar with a low A. Both here in the state of Maryland, so close by. Like to see it. Chance Cisco is one of our players of the week, another catcher.
Same group in the draft.
Yeah.
20 years old. Do you remember then? Remember when you were 20?
Yeah.
Do you? Wow. Good memory.
Well, I mean, vaguely. I just go, it was my second year in the big leagues, and we won the World Series.
Well, see, that's a good reason. You can remember that.
Of October.
You remember the big moments, and you just happen to be 20.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Alvarez drew a walk. He too was stranded in the second inning. 1-1 pitch will come inside from Severino.
I mean, actually, I was supposed to be at AAA Rochester because I kind of had to be in the big leagues my first year when I was 19. So I remember even more when they actually invited me back to Baltimore.
Scared me there for a minute. I thought you were going to say I was supposed to be 23. 2-1 pitch and a pop-up right by the mound to Shera. 2 down. Caption this. Check out @Masson Orioles on Instagram and provide your best caption for the photo. I'm just looking at the photo. 3 commenters are going to win a meet and greet with Buck Showalter. Watch every O's game with us. The Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Hang local.
Is that the Buck Gnome?
I believe so.
The garden.
Yes.
Well, it's really not a garden gnome. You could put it in your garden, but I mean, there are, if you go to Home Depot, you can make little garden gnomes and all that. If I remember correctly, when they had gnome night, which Buck did not want to have happen last year, the club's fortunes plummeted.
Listen to your skipper. He knows.
Exactly. He knows all. He does.
Jonathan Scope's got a base hit right down the line. Into foul territory it goes. Beltran coming over to get it. Scope going into second, and with 2 down, he has a double.
Yeah, couldn't get anything done with runners at first and second the last time, but this time hits the. If you're a pitcher, you just look at this and you go, there's nothing I can do about it. Right over the bag. Nicely placed. And Beltran says, I really have to. Oh, there I go. Let me get it. But Scope with 2 outs is not going all the way to third. No reason to risk it.
So the Orioles get a chance to get the lead with 2 away. Nobody better at picking up runs with 2 outs than the Orioles. We showed you earlier hitting .293 in these situations as a team. They are 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position so far tonight. Ryan Flaherty popped out his first time up, and will take the pitch inside for a ball. Let's see if the Orioles can break the 1-1 tie. Each team a run on 3 hits. Each team has left 4 on base. Pretty even Steven ball game where both pitchers have had to throw a bit, but they've gotten big outs. Teixeira, Severino charging, drops it. Here comes a run to the plate. Severino will not throw, and the Orioles have a 2-1 lead. And diving back into the bag at first is Flaherty. Scope comes around to score, and for the second time in the game, Severino struggles trying to get over there and handle the ball at first.
Yeah, and after this play, Mark Teixeira comes over and puts his arms around Severino, saying, hey. But again, this almost seems like it did happen early. I mean, great play by Teixeira. He gets it. There's the throw, trying to find the ball and the base at the same time. And part of that is really just bad luck as far as the timing. You know, I mean, in spring training, you do the drills, but everybody in the infield, maybe not Teixeira because he's diving for the ball, is yelling, get over there. Now, when you're a little more seasoned, and remember, he's only 22, anytime a ball's hit to the right side of the infield, you sprint for the bag. So he really hasn't gotten there in time to catch the ball and then find the bag. Trying to do them both at the same time, and you got probably 2 errors tonight.
Yep. So the error charged. Flaherty reaches, run scores. No RBI. And the Orioles have a 2-1 lead, and Joe Girardi just hands on hips. That's the way it's gone for the Yankees so far this year, and the Orioles taking advantage of it. Runner at first now at 2 away, and the pitch to Rickard outside. He reached on the error the first time, and Severino tried to get over there. Couldn't. And he has grounded out, so officially 0 for 2. Flaherty will be held by Teixeira. 1-0 count. Severino will miss inside. He looked at Manny's number here at home, hitting at .460, the best in the American League for a home average. Well, this guy at the plate happens to be number 2. He's hitting .400 coming into the game at home.
Yeah, very, very heady young player for a Rule 5. You know, you pick 50 grand and you got to keep him all year long. I mean, working on his bunting. You know, tried to bunt on Sale the other day. Of course, Sale doesn't fall off like a lot of lefties, but again, I think he gets what his role is going to have to be, and he's going to try to stay within his abilities. But we've also seen he's got a little pop in that bat.
He's a mistake home run hitter. If you put one in the wheelhouse, he's got the power to do it.
Well, I just think he's a pretty good fastball hitter on the inside, maybe 2/3 of the plate. And when you get it in that zone, all of a sudden he becomes not a home run guy, but a guy that drives the ball gap to gap.
3-1. Runner off first base. Ground ball towards third. Play will be made by Headley over to first, and that will retire the side. The Orioles get a run. It is unearned. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left on base. Scope scored it. Flaherty got him in. Orioles lead. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here at Camden Yards. The Orioles 2-2 on the homestand after the 4 with the White Sox. Chris Tillman with a 2-1 lead, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. And the off-speed delivery will miss as Chase Headley leads it off. Headley batting ninth, grounded out. It'll be Ellsbury and Gardner to follow. 6 unearned runs have been surrendered by the Yankees now on the season. The Orioles getting that last one. Rickert coming, and a sliding attempt, but it's dropped. Manny Machado, fortunately not injured. That's a tough play with his back to the plate.
Yeah, again, just trying to figure out where it is, and again, look where he is. This is where he starts, way there, and he's got to come a long way. Takes a look just to see where Rickert is, and then ball slicing away, doesn't quite get it in the pocket or even the web.
So he'll come back along with Headley. Tillman waiting, make sure Manny Machado's all right, and asking him, are you all right? It's kind of a nasty turn. You reach back for the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and the count will go to 2-1 on Headley.
Yeah, I would imagine when you look at Headley, all they want him to do is what he did last year. I mean, he hit around 260. The changeup takes that, runs the count to 3-1. So I mean, 11 home runs, 62 RBIs. If you look at his history, switch hitter, comes out of San Diego organization, had that one big year where he hit over 30 home runs. Other than that, he pretty much what he did last year is what he does.
3-1 delivery is fouled back. Got one to jump on right there. Could not catch up to it. So Tillman comes back on him, 3-2.
But from watching him play over the last 3-4 years, that'd be a perfect example. If you're really trying to hit home runs, that's a pitch you really try to pull. And he just again tried to go back up the middle, trying to get back on track some way.
3-2 pitches right there. Took a strike right down the middle.
And when you come in and you're hitting 156 and you get that 3-1 fastball and you foul it off, you just can't pull the trigger. But once again, this is Chris Tillman 2016. You think you're going to probably get a fastball, but he comes back with a slider. And we talked about all the wins. Last year 11, the year before 13, 16, 9. But not a lot of losses.
So deep inside the numbers with Felix on top. Chris right there. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Flaherty moves in at third base. 3 strikeouts in a row now for Chris Tillman. And the pitch will be taken away. Ellsbury is flied out, popped out. Big problem. Top of the order for the Yankees. Their combined top 4 spots hitting .201. Lowest in the majors.
Yeah, I mean, these are the guys that set the tone. And when they got Jacoby Ellsbury, I don't think anybody expected him to do that 1 year in Boston when he hit 32 home runs, but they wanted him to get on base. They wanted him to be able to steal bases, hit righties and lefties. So again, I mean, it looks like he's, as we've mentioned, a double to left off of Price, a double over the bag off of David Price, tough left-hander on Sunday night. But just hadn't been as consistent, I'm sure, as he would like, especially the Yankees.
2-1 pitch by Tillman's up the middle. He's got a base hit. So Ellsbury picks up the single here in the 5th inning with 1 down. On Sunday, don't miss the season's next Kids Run the Bases event here at the ballpark. Oakland will be in town, 1:35 game, and after that game, all kids 14 and under get to take the field and run the bases. Great family day. Get your tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
I mean, Jacoby Ellsbury does lead the Yankees with 5 steals. A lot more running. They've attempted to steal. Not that anybody has attempted to steal against Chris Tillman, but you would think if you're going to run, this would be one of those places.
Tillman, of course, over the past seasons, 3 seasons, said virtually nobody run against him. Runner not going here. Pitch. Wieters takes that one down low. Gardner's been on twice, a double and a walk. He's taking a look, see what might be on here with a runner on at first and only 1 away.
And the other thing about Brett Gardner, he had a fastball for that first double, Gary, is that if you're Jacoby Ellsbury, you pick a breaking ball, that was what, 78, it's going to be a lot easier to steal on something off speed.
1-0 count, decent lead, but back standing.
You would think that Chris Tillman, of course this is not the case, would be easy to run on. He's 6'5", but he slide steps, he holds runners well, he can speed up his windup.
Yankees 5th in the league in stolen bases. The Orioles are last in that department. 1-0 count, runner not going, and the pitch is there for a strike. You can tell Ellsbury's getting a feel right now for Tillman and his delivery, as he took a walking lead that last time, and then when he came back he went to Tony Pena, the first base coach, and asked for the time on that pitch getting to the plate.
Yeah, if you're over 1-3, and of course Wieters made a couple of excellent throws, and you know he's around maybe 1-8 to 2. You could see very attentive for Chris Tillman. Of course, I'm sure the Yankees are hoping that he'll concentrate more on Ellsbury than Gardner, but he's usually able to do a little bit of both of that.
1 ball 1 strike count. Matt has thrown out 2 of 4 on the season. Nobody's stolen against Tillman. 1-1, runner not going, fouled away, pulled back, lashed that one. He couldn't get the bat out around it to try and go the other way, and a 1 ball 2 strike count. And with that swing, Rickard in left field moves further over towards the line and in a couple of steps.
Yeah, 1-1 ball game, and of course Gardner says, was that a strike? And I'm sure Marquez said no, not until you swung at it.
But yeah, that's the easy answer for the umpire, isn't it? Well, of course it's a strike. You swung at it. 1-2, and swings through that one. 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, right by him. I mean, 90 before he fouled it off, a little extra 2-seamer. You could see it run left to right a little bit. And Gardner kind of annoyed.
Chris's high is 9 strikeouts, his career high 6 times. He had that against Tampa Bay in the last start, and he's up to 6 in this one. Here is A-Rod generating the noise. There are 2 down, runner on at first base. He has struck out and flied out. Rodriguez goes towards the middle, not hit hard though. Manny over, turns, throw in the dirt. Nice play at first, Davis. Did not overplay it on what was a 1-hop throw that I think Manny Machado intended to be a 1-hop throw. He was off balance. He took a little off it with the arm strength. You see him throwing it downward. Perfect hop to first base and gets the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on base. Machado at third, Machado at short, Machado anywhere. He's got. By T-Mobile. Manny Machado. Take a look at the numbers he has at home, and all #1 rankings.
Yeah, it all started on Thursday night because Tampa Bay, they can flat out pitch down there. So the Orioles did win 1 of the 3 games, and of course, you know, on Friday night they scored 10 runs, 15 hits. Manny said it's good to be home, and you can see why. You check out those numbers.
Manny Machado will take the inside corner pitch, and it is in there for a strike. Orioles leading it 2-1. 2-3-0 for the Orioles. 1-4 and 2 big errors. Down the line. That's going to be a base hit. Headley couldn't get it. Ellsbury will chase it down in foul territory. Into second base, Manny Machado, and he's got a 2-bagger.
Yeah, same pitch as he popped up with the bases loaded, except location, location, location. Inside slider, and because of that, great angle right here as he hooks it. Headley can't get to it. I'm going to get by him. There's no way the Gardner's going to keep him from anywhere but second base.
Well, the Orioles now with 4 hits. Severino working here in the 5th inning. Pitch count 74. He and Tillman have been about the same. 76 on the pitch count now. About the same number of pitches thrown. Both have thrown a lot deep in counts, getting behind hitters. Here's Adam Jones. Adam gets the RBI opportunity. Castro will hold the runner close at second. And Jones will take the pitch for a ball.
Yeah, he's not getting any of the close pitches. Boy, big difference between being 0-1 and 1-0. So, Adam, with nobody out, he wants to hit the ball. I mean, he did a great job of adjusting his swing in the Chicago series. A big double on Saturday night to tie up the game.
1-0 delivery. That'll go to short. Runner in front. They're going to go and try and get him. Throw to third to Headley. Tag is on. And Didi Gregorius with a heads-up play to get Manny Machado, who ran even though the ball was hit in front of him.
Yeah, Cardinal base running mistake. First of all, Adam doesn't hit the ball to the right side because it's a changeup. He gets out in front. And you never hit a ball that's hit in front of you. And if you do, and you get a heads-up shortstop, Gregorius, easy throw to Headley.
So you take a runner in scoring position out, and Jones at first base, reaching on the fielder's choice. 1 down. That'll bring up Chris Davis. Chris has struck out and lined out. Going for the long ball on that one. Chris has had 23 such home runs against the Yankees in his career. 0-1. Adam Jones held by Teixeira. Not a big lead. Highly unlikely Adam would be running with the problems he's having with the muscles around the rib cage.
Well, he only stole 4 bases last year. Does not do a lot of running anymore. Orioles don't do a lot of running. 4 stolen bases. McCann only 2 out of 12.
Take a look at these numbers.
Yeah.
Fewest stolen bases this year. Orioles.
Well, Trout could steal 4 bases in 2 days if he wanted to. They just don't let him run a lot. So the Angels at 6.
And 0-1 delivery and fouled off at the plate.
Yeah, I think when you have a big inning, 3-run, 2-run home run type of team, and if you're going to run, remember what Davey Johnson, my former teammate when he was managing the Mets, he said you better be at least 80% or better.
And the Elias Sports Bureau says if you go 100 years back in baseball, if you're not 75% effective, then you're doing damage by trying to steal bases. Pitch will be taken up high. That's based on how that's converted into runs. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Davis eyeing Severino here. The outfield deep all the way around. The shift on, but with 1 away, playing a double play depth. 1-2 delivery on the way, and again off the end of the bat and fouled.
Yeah, he's got a nice changeup for a 22-year-old pitcher, even though it's hard at 88. The other, it's about a 7-mile-per-hour difference between his fastball and changeup, and he's got good movement on it. And the other thing is he's thrown enough of them. There's his pitching coach, Larry Rothschild, that they're aware that he'll throw it in any count. Now, where he'll throw it, that's a whole other story.
1-2.
Wow.
Sometimes it goes in there.
Yeah, dodgeball. Well, remember down in Texas, Doug Brocail, their pitching coach, said, former major league reliever, he said, boy, one of the body parts has to be moving when you come inside. That was the whole body. Nobody wants to take 95 off the kneecap.
No.
But I know
2-2 delivery on the way. Runner off first, and again
another changeup.
Trying to get underneath that pitch, Chris Davis, and can't quite do it as that changeup drops out of the strike zone, and he's on top of it a couple of times here in this at bat. Be the 7th pitch of the at bat coming up to Chris. McCann may have taken a little bit of a hit on that last one as he walks away and wants the trainer to come out. May have something in his eye, or don't know if he wears contacts or not.
Do you ever wear contacts?
I tried.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That did not work.
Well, that about explains it for a lot of people. And the thing is, and I don't know if he's wearing them or not, but if you have one, and of course I can imagine with a mask and all that, if it looks like he maybe just has some debris, but if the lens can get lost in your eye, and you know, I mean, you don't know where it is. And then of course sometimes you look into the mirror and you go, ooh, I look better with only one contact. No, you look at it and you can't even see it in your eye.
You were just kind of going back in history there. I could tell.
Well, I tried to wear it. Yeah, I tried to wear contact lens.
Did you look better with just one?
Sometimes.
Davis.
What I remember after the World Series, you know, the good slider right here. I mean, he's going to strike him out. But after World Series in '66, I tried to wear contact lenses, and I worked for a men's clothing store, $150 a week. Hamburgers had like 6 stores, and I would drive down the Jones Falls Expressway, which runs, you know, from the county into the city, and it would snow, and the reflections at about 8:30 in the morning with one eye closed because the glare was impossible. So that was my original
experiment.
Time I tried, yeah. And then I went to Chicago one day, and when I get to Chicago, it's about 22 degrees and it's snowing. And then just going to Wesley Jessen to put lenses in, and they put them in. They said, come back 4 hours later. So I come back 4 hours later. Now I go out of Wesley Jessen, and like I said, it's freezing and it's flurries, and I'm going, oh geez, there's a bakery. I'll go in there. I go into the bakery. I'm thinking, oh, now that smells good. It's warm. You know, have a little cookie or something. I go, where can I go now for 3 hours and 45 minutes? I go to a movie. Well, the lens rotated. Now I can't see the last 3 hours of the movie. It's like taking your glasses, and you know, if you ever take glasses and you know you turn them off the tip with the
You may have been the first to see a 3D movie.
Exactly. No, actually, I saw one when I was about 9 years old at Radio City Music Hall. But I'm telling you, so I get back about 4 hours later. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of blind. I can't even see. I mean, I can't.
Trumbo! Bumba! At the wall! And goodbye! Home run! His second of the ball game. This one good for 2 RBIs. 8 on the year. And Trumbo's done it again.
Well, to make a long story short, he has no problem with his vision. It's a second home run. Looks like a changeup. The home run number 8. You know, we talked about Adam Jones said it looks like a golf ball. That looked like, and he was saying, he said, you know what my favorite club to hit? I said, no. What is that, Mark? He goes, long irons. Well, that was a long iron.
That was a long iron. So Trumbo delivers another shot again to left field, and the Orioles have a 4-1 lead.
There's the changeup, turns it over into the power zone, and boy, this is sky high. It's supposed to rain. If anything's going to bring rain, that kind of home run will do it.
So Trumbo also happy to be back home. 11-2 when scoring 4 or more. They've got 4 here. Trumbo has 3 RBIs, multi-homer game. Brings in Adam Jones ahead of him, and for Sharon Todd, our Maryland lottery contestant, another $500. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Sweeters threw it. He has singled and has struck out. So the Orioles continue to ride the long ball, as was expected with this lineup they have. The Orioles are number 1 in the league in homers now with 36. They've given up only 18 on the year. Severino's 1-2 delivery just kind of looped at shallow left. Ellsbury, who was playing shallow, comes in to get it, and that'll do it. The Orioles get a couple of runs. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left, and Mike Trumbo writing a little of his own history book here for 2000.
Back, and boy, all over the field tonight, the little snow cone. And then right here, check this out, playing short right field, able to throw Teixeira out, and then right here hit it to the right guy. Teixeira with a great play over to Severino. He drops it. Second time that's happened. Scope to a doubled scores. And those are your Geico Highlines. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
So Mike Trumbo, a big night already, and he'll get to the plate again in this ball game. 3 RBI game. He's had as many as 5 runs batted in a ball game this year. And for Tillman, a little room to work. A 4-1 ball game. With the Orioles up. Chris, see the 81 pitches thrown so far. Working here in the top of the 6th inning. Teixeira has struck out, grounded out.
Well, he did a position, Gary, at about 16 pitches an inning where he could actually maybe pitch into the 7th. And with Britton at least temporarily out, you know, with the ankle swelling and whatever, I mean, that's real important.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to close. That'll be kind of a surprise if you have that situation.
2-1 delivery on the way. Well, certainly O'Day could close. Brock can close. The Orioles have options out there. There's Darren. And it'll just depend on the flow of the ball game. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Orioles have the big shift on. Scope way out in right field, and another walk. Well, so Teixeira's on.
You know, I'm all for Marquez having a tight strike zone, but at some point when they grade him, you got to call the strikes. The 2-1 pitch was pretty much right down the middle, and of course the Yankees are looking for base runners, and then he throws him a 3-1 changeup. Pretty gutsy pitch, and he walks him.
Leadoff walk in the 2nd. McCann scored. Leadoff walk in the 4th to McCann. They did not score in that inning. Now another leadoff walk here in the 6th inning.
Now you got to pitch to him.
Now McCann with a shift on. They get a chance to see something to hit after 2 walks. He did, but he didn't swing. And a strike to him.
You talked about, and you always talk about it. I mean, I knew the importance as a pitcher. They would always talk about the importance of getting the first batter out. When Chris Sale pitched on Sunday, ran his record to 6-0, 90%, highest number I've ever seen. No, it's only 6 starts into the season.
It's enormous. That one to left. Rickard Cummings going to have to play it on a hop. So the Yankees come right back here in the 6th inning. They get the first 2 on. 2nd inning, they have done that. That's single by McCann. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles.
Pretty nice hitting approach for a pull hitter. And McCann, of course, last 2 years with the Yankees, he hit 232 because he didn't hit the ball left field. So you're right. The Yankees getting what they need here, trailing by 3.
Each team's got 5 hits, 2 on, nobody out. Beltran is singled, hit into a fielder's choice. Double play depth for the Orioles infield, and Tillman will get the first pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, and anybody that's ever seen Carlos Beltran, and I know he's been struggling a little bit, but his home run power comes when he looks for a pitch in a certain zone. It could be a little bit away or inside, and the bat gets very, very quick, and he becomes a pull hitter.
Has not had an extra base hit in 10 games. Pitches there for a strike. And there are stories in New York wondering, is Beltran's career coming to an end right in front of you as you watch the veteran play? Maybe a little early for that, but we'll see. 0-2 count. Beltran will take the fastball way up high. Weeder stands up and has a quick word from afar with his pitcher.
Yeah, that's what happened last year. Really struggled early. Ended up, with what, 34 doubles, 19 home runs, 67 RBIs, but horrible April 2015.
In the dirt. And this is where Tillman runs into trouble. First inning, struggles. 2, 3, 4, 5, exceedingly good numbers. 6th inning, not so good.
Well, there's no, 81 pitches. It's just you just look at this number, veteran pitcher, unless you let it get in your head. It's also your approach. Sometimes you really have to trust your stuff early in the count. You can't keep going 1-0 and 2-0. It's just, especially with this umpire.
2-2 delivery on the way. Beltran's got that one, but it's right at him. Trumbo. We'll take a look. Runners get back. Well, Beltran retired.
That was that 3-run home run pitch. It was in the middle of the plate, and he just was either too quick and got it out on the end of the bat. Well, that was a very hittable pitch that he just missed.
So 1 big out for Tillman. Now Castro coming up. Castro has struck out and hit into a double play. 1 down. Teixeira at second base. McCann is on at first for the Yankees. Orioles jumping out to the 4-1 lead. Compliments of Trumbo's multi-homer game and a run that scored on an error. Now the Yankees have an RBI single from Didi Gregorius in the 2nd. Their only run. Strike taken inside corner.
Well, that's what you were talking about. And in fact, there's an article in the Baltimore Sun. Tyler Wilson, a very inexperienced starter for the Orioles, said, well, you got to make better pitches. They adjust. And that's why, to me, the assortment that Chris is throwing with that slider, he's certainly capable of not struggling 3rd time through the order because of his ability and the fact that his experience factor.
Gets the foul ball and a 2-strike count.
And I'm wondering in the back of your head when you have a good bullpen, and I'm sure nobody's ever going to admit to this, but hey, 5 1/3, 5 2/3. That's not the Chris Tillman I know, but I think it's easy when you have a good bullpen. Hey, they'll come in and get it. Well, your closer's hurt. So this is one of those. That's why I think this is such an important game and said it in the opening.
0-2 delivery. Runners with their leads. Pitch up high. 1 ball, 2-strike count. Matt Wieters keeps taking Tillman up there when he gets ahead in the count, trying to get the Yankees to go after pitches up and out of the strike zone. Obviously something in the scouting report that says the Yankees have been doing that.
But he's come out of his windup, so they're not even close. So they're not very meaningful pitches.
1-2.
Yeah, see, there's another
way
one.
up.
You could just see him going left. And again, I think the fact also that he hasn't faced Starlin Castro. Tonight's the first time. And sometimes you can watch all the film. Nothing like actually seeing hitters time and time again. And then the more pitches you throw, the more pitches Starlin Castro, who's been their hottest hitter, gets to see.
2-2, and he will step out. For all the struggles the Yankees have had, the one thing they have not done a lot of is strike out. 2nd fewest times striking out for any team in the American League. The Angels have struck out the fewest. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Teixeira, McCann their leads, and at to second is 1. Relay to first and got him. Davis coming off the bag, but able to lay the tag down.
Yeah, McCann's going to ask Joe Girardi to maybe check this. Hanging slider. Castro gets a little unlucky right at Scope. And again, it's not a force play. So Chris Davis trying to get the glove down. And they're probably going to review this. I mean, huge part of the game.
Looked like he was safe.
Yeah, well, it could be. And, you know, the Yankees have, what we get them their notes, what, 72% of their challenges?
Now, if his foot is on the bag, obviously, no tag needed. Chris didn't think he was on the bag, or he wouldn't have applied the tag. Is he on the bag? Actually, it looked like his foot got pushed back into the bag before the base runner was able to get his foot there. So we'll see. They are going to go a challenge here.
Well, that's not a force play, though, is it? I mean, doesn't it has to be a tag going back to the base?
Well, I wonder if they have to ask here. I wonder if they have to specifically say we want to know if the tag was applied, or we want to know is his foot on the bag, or what they're challenging.
Yeah, I think he's actually looked safe from that angle.
It's just the challenge on the call. So whatever you want to look at. Was he out or was he safe? Watching the big screen. That's what the Yankees are doing. And in New York, the umpires looking at what you're looking at. Is there enough to overturn the call of out, looking at the video? Gonzo Marquez, home plate umpire, is the crew chief for this game. Out. That's the call. And that was the original call. No runs, one hit. Again, the Yankees got the first two on. Tillman finds a way out of it. Great sights and sounds here at Camden Yards, where the Orioles have the 4-1 lead, first of three against the Yankees. And Orioles, there's Tillman finding a way around some tough innings. Severino has not been able to do that. Tillman with Trumbo with the 2 home runs off him, a large reason why. Pedro Alvarez goes against the shift, but right into the one player there, Didi Gregorius. 1 out. One away, 6th inning. Scope and Flaherty due up.
It's kind of the way before the shifts, hits it right at the shortstop.
Yes.
Who happens to be playing shortstop. Now you could see a youngster at 22 would really mixed up his pitches, but 2 glaring mistakes in a sense to the wrong guy, Trumbo, and 2-run home run, solo home run.
Jonathan Scope taking all the way. He had a double and would score in the 4th inning, an unearned run, and the error charged on Severino. He's had 2 errors in the ball game in attempts to get over to first to cover, and one of those resulted in that run. 0-1 pitch on the way the other way, and that one's going to be foul.
Even though when you look at Trumbo's first throw, I'm not sure if your best pitch is your fastball and a guy turns on your 95-mile-per-hour fastball. It's really a mistake. It's more like Trumbo put a great swing on it, and then he got a changeup and hit a moonshot. But the first one went, what,
428, they said, yeah. 0-2 pitch will be outside. See that pitch count up to 96. Severino having to work in this ball game. He's thrown as many as 103. That was 2 starts ago. He has lost to Detroit, Seattle, and Texas. The no decision against Oakland, his best start. 2 runs, 7 hits in that ball game. Still looking for his first win of the year. He's 0-3 with that 6.86 ERA.
Well, if you go down to Texas and you don't have your best stuff, and that's a really glaring game, 6 runs, 7 hits in 3 innings, and they can do a number on you in that part. Looks so big when you walk in, and then the game starts.
Gets real small when the hitters come up.
Flying all over the place, and fast infield, and ball carries about as well as any ballpark in baseball other than maybe Colorado. 2
balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Scope at the 3rd, and Chase Headley will put it away.
Yep. Got a good pitch to hit and hit it hard. That's where the luck factor comes in. Of course, that's why you have 7 guys playing behind you. When you hang a slider and Headley bails him out, that would have probably been another double.
2 down here in the 6th inning. Severino's had only 1 clean inning. That was in the 3rd. Ryan Flaherty has popped out, reached on the error that allowed a run to score, and will chop that one foul. Orioles, of course, with J.J. Hardy out. That bone that's got to heal, so he'll be out 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Buck Showalter thought maybe that's a little long. We'll see. 0-1 pitch, and that'll be taken away.
Yeah, I thought he said it very well, eloquently and honestly. He said, listen, I don't want to tell you it's going to be 4 weeks or even 6 weeks because I don't want to disappoint myself. But it's just one of those freak things.
Yeah.
The ball just foul it off your left foot.
1-1 delivery to him, foul back by Flaherty.
And it's so easy to do. How many times in the course of a baseball game do we see hitters, foul ball straight down?
That's the question of hitting the wrong spot,
yeah,
if you
exactly.
will.
Adam does it all the time. I mean, every hitter in baseball does. Ball's moving all over. Sometimes, you hit the top of it, goes straight down, and you can see Ryan Flaherty. I mean, he's a pull hitter, and he wears that protection. JJ was saying maybe if I actually had a little more protection. I mean, if you look at most of the shoes that players wear, they're pretty lightweight. So that's why you wear that. And actually, if you look at the bottom of it, that's where the ball hit. And I'm sure JJ will probably maybe wear one of those. And maybe that would have helped him do it.
1-2 delivery on the way, will be up high. So frustrating because Hardy, of course, was feeling so good. He was healthy. He was playing extremely well, really enjoying it again, not having to play with the pain of that shoulder. And then right there, ball down on the foot. 2-2 delivery on the way, and got him looking. So Severino will pick up his 4th strikeout for the 2nd time in the game, retires the side in order, but the Orioles are on top 4-1. April. This month is May, and he started things out the same darn way. Moving over to shortstop. This is the old turf play. Bounce it to your first baseman when you can't get good balance to make a strong throw. One hop.
Yeah, and the other thing is, now I didn't see him practicing moving from third base to shortstop that play before because they had the tarp on the field today. And yet he makes it, and he gets Chris Tillman. The score was 2-1 at the time. Gets him out of the inning.
Finds a way, doesn't he?
Yeah, he could probably. Well, he could play anywhere except catcher.
Yep. Gregorius will take it away. Yeah.
He's our third. There's Kirby Yates. Well, there's your Noah Flaherty's back. So now he's our fourth catcher. Talking about Manny.
Ryan Mattis up in the bullpen for the Orioles. Gregorius, an RBI base hit, called out on strikes. He will foul it away. It was a leadoff walk, second inning McCann. And with 2 down, Gregorius got the base hit and the RBI. Tillman about ready to throw his 100th pitch of the game with the 4-1 lead. Chris has gone up to 105 2 starts ago, 101 in the last outing against Tampa Bay. The other way, Rooker coming over, going back Flaherty from third and out of play.
Yeah, Gregorius chases the ball out of the zone for pitch number 99. It's a Gretzky fastball. And he fouled it off.
Has a number right on it. 99. 1 ball, 2 strike count. 4 walks, 6 strikeouts for Tillman. That's a lot of pitches right there.
Whoa.
And came over the top and got him.
Straight changeup. Fooled him with the arm speed. Pretty much in the middle of the plate, but boy, just pulls it down. You read the arm. Difference of about 8 to 9 miles per hour on pitch 1-0-0.
So 1 away here in the 7th inning. Headley coming up. He is struck out and grounded out. Ellsbury leadoff batter on deck. Then he sees the 92-mile-an-hour pitch and swings right through it at an 0-1 count. 5 hits for each team, but the Orioles been able to take advantage of it with a long ball with Trumbo's 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. That is in there for a strike, down to 76.
Yeah, Chase Headley going, why me? You're having trouble getting the curveball over, and you, since the first inning when Gregorius, or actually the second inning when Gregorius hit it up the middle, he's thrown it. There's another one, a good one.
I'm not hitting, and I have to look at that.
Right.
Road trip. Headley's had only 3 hits and 19 at bats.
Wow.
Yucky. Oh.
Yeah. It looked like Alfonso Marquez almost started to put the arm up. Probably a little off the plate. You can see when a catcher moves it back into the zone, even subtly, sometimes you get it. Not tonight.
2-2 delivery on the way. Got that one in there. Back to 83, and Tillman is on a roll.
I have 8 strikeouts.
I do too.
And he struck out 5 in a row in the middle innings, starting back in the 4th. But a terrific changeup, and again, we talked about the fact he's thrown his slider, didn't throw it a whole lot last year. And again, when you have arm speed, you can sell the changeup because you're just throwing harder. They respect the fastball just a little bit more.
2 down in the 7th on K's. Here's Ellsbury. A base hit. 1 for 3. There's an even slower off-speed pitch in there for a strike.
Well, I always found the curveball to be a feel and touch pitch. Well, sometimes it takes you a couple of innings, but it seems to be working here in the 7th.
Tillman worked 6 2/3 innings in that last outing against Tampa Bay, where he gave up no runs on 2 hits. So Tillman working on going through 7 at least here in this one, with the Orioles bullpen ready if needed. Pitch will miss outside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. The Orioles have gone 4-1 in the 5 starts that Chris has made. So he's been on the mound for wins, and he himself 2-1. Swing and a miss over the top at 82.
Yeah, see, when you have the confidence he has, and that's a fastball count, and not only does he throw the changeup, it's a good one. Great movement down the bottom of the zone, and now at 2-2. Jacoby Ellsbury has no idea of what may be coming. Can't eliminate any pitch tonight with Chris Tillman.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and he got him, struck the side out, and equals his career high 9 strikeouts that he also had in the last game. It is the 7th time Tillman has had a 9 strikeout.
His night will be completed. A couple of home runs, one on a changeup, one on a fastball to Mark Trumbo. Actually pitched pretty well. One thing about the Yankees, 12 of his 16 major league starts, 2 runs or less, and tonight is included in that. And again, our Jiffy Lube pitching change brought to you by Jiffy Lube, where participating stores now do brake services. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube inspect your brakes today. Kirby Yates, last time the Orioles saw him was last year with Tampa Bay. Put on waivers, went over to the Indians, and then the Yankees acquired him. So again, 9th appearance for him. Done a pretty good job. Maybe the walk's a little bit higher than you would like. And you can see righties and lefties pretty much the same average, and throws a few more fly balls than grounders.
So Yates will work in the bottom half of the 7th inning against the Orioles. And the first pitch, a strike on the outside corner. Joey Rickert at the plate. Brad Brock getting ready in the bullpen for the Orioles. 4-1 lead for the O's in the first game of this 3-game set against the Yankees. Orioles won last year 10 games to 9. Here at home, the Orioles went 7-2 against the Yankees. 2nd consecutive season in which the Orioles have had a big year at Camden Yards against the Yankees.
Well, yeah, they're trying to make it going back to last year, 6 in a row. Yankees, of course, if the Yankees lose tonight, that will be a 6-game losing streak.
Yates with a 1-ball 1-strike count on Rickert, and a ground ball towards short. Gregorius will hustle it over and record the out. Voting is now open for the 16 All-Star game. You can go to Orioles.com/vote-orange. Vote up to 35 times per email address. A maximum 5 votes in a 24-hour period. Lots of Orioles to choose from on the list. So vote early, vote often, vote orange. Go to Orioles.com/vote-orange today. Chris Tillman with an outstanding start. Evan Gosman there with him, who will get a chance against the Yankees in the 3rd game against Masahiro Tanaka. Tomorrow night, Tyler Wilson and CC Sabathia. Down the 3rd and foul off the bat of Manny Machado.
Well, Chris put a pitching little primer on how you pitch going through the lineup maybe the 3rd time by using all your pitches. And then they got increasingly better as far as quality and location.
Manny, a double his last time up, has popped out, drawn a walk. He will take Yates's delivery inside. Manny has had 4 consecutive multi-hit games coming into this ball game, so he gets one here. He can up that to 5. He'd gone 8 for 17, 5 RBIs during a 4-game stretch. He's got a 5-game hit streak extended with the double. Yates with the 1-1 delivery to him. That'll be in the outside corner for a strike.
And they got a deceptive windup. Drafted at least initially by the Red Sox back in 2005. Never signed. And then the Rays picked him up as an undrafted free agent. Worked his way up through their organization. Starter early on in his minor league career.
1-2 delivery on the way. Ground ball to the hole. Gregorius uses the backhand on it and will record the out.
Now you can see he's got a pretty strong arm.
Didi Gregorius getting some work. Couple of ground ball outs here in the 7th inning. 2 down, nobody on. Jones, fielder's choice, reached in the 5th and scored. Officially is 0 for 3 at the plate today. Yates working out of the stretch. Tell you about the Yankees and their losing skid. If they were to lose this ball game, it would be their 3rd longest losing streak in the last decade. They lost 6 games in 2011 and 2015 in a row. They're in danger of having that happen here. 1-0 pitch inside as they've lost 5 in a row coming in. The Yankees have been outscored. Now if you count this ball game during this losing streak, Yankees have been outscored 37-13.
Well, the other thing is the schedule doesn't get a whole lot better. Red Sox come to New York. They just got swept up at Fenway.
1-1 delivery on the way, will be outside.
Then they get the defending world champs for 4 in Yankee Stadium, and then the White Sox, who are leading the American League Central.
They've got a stretch now starting tonight of 20 consecutive days in which they play. It's the longest stretch of the year without a scheduled day off. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery by Yates on him. Jones trying to power that one, fouls it back. 2 ball, 2 strike count on the Orioles center fielder. Congratulations, Flaherty over there with Tillman coming out of the ball game with a chance to win his 3rd and a chance for the Orioles to go 5-1 in his starts. Red Brock has been loose in the bullpen for 2 innings. Pitch. Yates takes it away, and a 3 ball 2 strike count. Severino, the pitcher of record for the Yankees, could be 0-4 if the Orioles maintain this lead. 3-2 count, 2 down, nobody on. Adam goes after it, a comebacker. He got jammed on that. Yates almost threw it away. Teixeira down to get it. Orioles retired in order. We completed 7. Orioles up 4-1.
Again, trying to run his record to 3-1. Really made a lot of great pitches, back-to-back games now that he struck out 9 batters. And my score tells me that of the last 12 batters he faced, or actually 13 with a walk included, 8 of them went down on strikeout. So again, I mean, a menagerie of pitches tonight. Used them all. Velocity maintained through 7 innings. There's certainly a chance to win. And again, you can see pretty good mix. Maybe a few less changeups, but really very effective. Brad Brock will come on. He's been very good. Did give up a game-tying home run over the weekend, but other than that, has been really good. And again, Brett Lawrie, who really wore the Orioles out, hit a solo home run off him. But low numbers, righties at under 100, lefties at 130, and again, the back end of the bullpen missing Zach Britton for the moment with the ankle sprain, whatever you want to call it. Somebody's going to have to step up.
Gardner will lead it off. It'll be Gardner, A-Rod, and Teixeira. Brock's delivery to him. Taking 4 a ball. Brad, who worked in 62 games last year, being used with a great deal of confidence. Barbetto up in the bullpen for the Yankees. Brad ended up 5-3 with a sparkling 2.72 ERA last year.
Well, yeah, and he's going to find it's a very small strike zone. I mean, that's, again, if you're friends of Alfonso Marquez, this is his strike zone. Not a bad strike zone. It's his. Every umpire has one, and it's as you mentioned, what it favors the hitters. Didn't seem to bother Chris Tillman. He struck out 9. You're not going to get the, it doesn't seem like you're getting the balls right, either off the edge, and hitters love that.
Yep.
You know, just make him, talking about any pitcher, make him throw it over.
Gardner has picked up a walk, a double, and he has struck out. Flaherty will be in at third. Yankees need base runners here. 8th inning, 2-ball, 1-strike delivery to him. Lashed the other way and foul. Take a look at the Orioles and their bullpen and just how good it has been.
Well, it's been outstanding. I mean, you had a little blip on Saturday night where the defense was not very good early in the infield, and then I think the bullpen gave up 3 runs. But other than that, unbelievably, they don't strike out a lot of guys. If you saw their 82, 11th out of 15 teams, but very effective. Great defense behind them.
Brock's delivery to him, and he had a reach to protect on that one and did. So Gardner keeps his at-bat alive. Gardner's faced Brock only twice, 0 for 2 against him.
Well, that's the changeup, and Severino threw a lot of them. Chris Tillman used it very effectively, and for Brad, it acts like a little bit of a, maybe almost a split-fingered fastball where he gets the downward movement.
Gardner will go after that one and fight that one away again. This is the kind of at-bat you see a lot of when Gardner is playing well. He will foul off a lot of pitches and get it to a count where he gets to see one he can hit. He's trying to do that here to get on base. The Yankees, even with leadoff men getting on base in this ball game in only 1 inning, the second with that walk to McCann, have been able to use it and get a run across. Way inside, Brock jackknifes him away, full count.
So what happens, Gary, with a lot of times, especially starting pitcher, but even bullpenners, they're going to pitch to the scoreboard. So with a 3-run lead, by doing what you just said, Gardner working the count, now all of a sudden will probably get a better to pitch to hit 3-2 than he would have at 2-2.
Full count delivery to him. Gardner in the ground ball to second base. Jonathan Scope is up, and that is the first out of the 8th inning. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Game 2 of the 3-game set. Tyler Wilson's going to go for the Orioles. CC Sabathia will be on the mound for the Yankees. Coverage on Masson, 6:30. O's Extra, presented by Southwest, followed by game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on Masson.
So you got a youngster on the right. You got a veteran on the left. Tyler Wilson, who pitched very well against the White Sox, couldn't get through the 5th inning because they had some great at bats, and against CC, the Orioles have handled a little bit better than they did early in his career because he's outstanding. Dustin Ackley will come in and pinch hit. You could see, obviously, maybe you can get an idea why he's not playing. 1 for 16.
A-Rod apparently pulled up a little short after a last at bat and came out of the ball game with some sort of an injury, perhaps minor, but enough to take him out of the ball game. So that's why A-Rod's not hitting here in his spot. He was 0 for 3, grounded out his last time up. 1-1 delivered to Ackley, and he's going to get a base hit. That is a Sunday Times single down the line, but with the shift on, there was nobody there. So Ackley gets a pinch hit single with one away here in the 8th inning. Just enough to get it onto the outfield grass.
Well, you're right. Everybody over. And again, I mean, he just kind of pool cues it over there. I mean, it's a changeup. It's down. He hits it off the end of the bat. He gets fooled. So now he's 2 for 17. He goes, I'm hot. I'm 1 for 1.
Well, he's on when they needed him. Now we'll see if they can do anything with it. Here is Mark Teixeira. Teixeira's 1 for 3, a home run off Brad Brock. Pitch is at the knees for a strike. Teixeira struck out, grounded out, and has drawn a walk in the ball game. The shift on against him. He'll be followed by McCann, the catcher. The 0-1 delivery on the way, and a towering pop-up shallow left. Rickert, plenty of time to get in under. And he'll make the catch on it. 2 down. Follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment any moment. You get game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download it. MLB.com at bat #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. And you'll see Trumbo hitting home runs. 2 in this game, 3 RBIs, numbers 7 and 8. The Oriole right fielder who gets moved a bit over towards center. McCann, a base hit and a couple of walks. He has scored the lone Yankee run, and will take the pitch for a strike.
Well, he's been on all 3 times. A couple of walks, single.
McCann with the 0 for 3 against Brock lifetime. McCann's had 5 hits in his last 24 at bats. And is down on the count 0-2.
Other than Starlin Castro, the highest batting average of any of the Yankees that are playing tonight. Well, 0-2, it allows you the luxury of pitching out of the strike zone and getting a hitter to chase.
0-2 delivery, foul back again.
Boy, had a nice swing at that pitch. 94 up and away. It's almost like he just looked away, and I'm going to hack. Take a look. I mean, he just goes out and gets it. I mean, that's 94 miles per hour. You can see, and he's pretty close to the plate, hovers over it.
Runner at first base, shift on 0-2 delivery, and that one's going to miss. Weeder's keeping an eye on the runner, Ackley, who's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, Gary, when you get a guy that goes out and takes the ball off the corner and has that kind of swing, it does mean you can get in, but Brad Brack doesn't like to pitch in, especially the lefties.
1-2, and he'll chop that one foul.
Yeah, he prefers that approach, which is, you know, the changeup.
Orioles are trying to pick up their 10th win at home. They are 9-3 here at Camden Yards. The long homestand, of course, for the O's, trying to take advantage of it. Maybe catch the Red Sox and move ahead of them. 2-1 White Sox over Boston in their game right now. Pitch is down low. 2 ball, 2 strike count. More importantly, against these teams in the East like the Yankees, trying to bury them. O'Day, this is a save situation at the moment. We said Zach Britton not available for this ball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brock's delivery to him in the air to center field. Adam Jones. Gotcha. And that'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Bottom of the 8th coming up. O's 3 outs away from a W. Bring in the lumber. And the Orioles have done that tonight. Trumbo, first of 2 home runs he's had in the ballgame. Wieters got a single right after that. Scope has added a base hit tonight. Flaherty back getting a hit. Manny Machado keeps his hit streak going. And Trumbo another one. Bring in the lumber. Yellowwood.
He did. Johnny Barbado out of Miami, Florida, hard throwing righty. 3-pitch pitcher, throws about 94. Got a slider, upper 80s, and then a curveball. So started early on in his minor league career, and then in the last couple of years, he's worked his way up as a reliever. And then started out with San Diego. Sean Kelly, the right-handed reliever, traded over there. He came to the Yankee organization. Orioles still trying to with 3 at-bats here. Got a couple of Day the righty, McFarland the lefty. Had some runs.
So the Orioles bat here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Pitch on the way is in there for a strike. Chris Davis 0 for 3 in the ball game, trying to keep his hit streak alive. 7 home runs, 17 RBIs. 23-year-old right-hander for the Yankees, on in relief of Yates, who worked an inning and retired the side in order. Floats that one up there, and it's away. Take a look at our leaderboard, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Orioles with a home run lead, 36, including the 2 tonight. And the Astros. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery. Davis takes it at the knees. That is in there.
Well, there's 3 hooks in a row. How about the Astros? 8 and 18 after starting out 18 and 7 a year ago. Not what they wanted.
Different season,
yeah.
Different numbers, right? 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Barbado goes up, and we'll get the strikeout on Davis. All right, Alexis, the Towson drive of the game. Compliments of Mark Trumbo. Just laces that one 420 plus away, and then would come up again in the 5th with a runner on and do it again. Close to the same spot. Drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 luxury dealer. Come see why at lexusoftowson.com. 9th career multi-homer game. 2nd one he's had already this season. And the fans wanting to see another.
Well, it could happen.
0-1 count on him. Trumbo to be followed by Wieters. Barbado with the 0-1 delivery, and that will be taken inside. Well, Trumbo hits the long ball. He has a great idea of the strike zone. You don't see him chase many pitches that aren't there. He's a very patient hitter. For a power hitter, extraordinarily patient.
I think he's got a pretty good idea of what he wants to do till 2 strikes.
1-1 delivery on the way. Yeah. Barbado's pitch is in there for a strike. A little wrinkle on that one, 1-2.
I guess his game plan is not to throw a whole lot of balls out of the strike zone.
No. Working in a hurry.
Yeah, 4 breaking balls to Chris Davis, and then a fastball on the outside corner. Sliders and hooks to Mark Trumbo.
1 ball, 2 strike count on him. Trumbo goes after that one that was out, and Barbado gets the strikeout.
Well, Barbado, he said he had a hard slider. I mean, he's got everything going tonight. This is 88. You think it's going to be in the zone. Good slider. You don't see the spin. Starts on the outside third. The plate just keeps sliding away from you.
2 down, nobody on. Wieters, a base hit, a strikeout and flied out. They put the full shift on against Matt Wieters, and he was going for the long ball on that one.
Yeah, I was looking at Mark Trumbo. He's hit 2 home runs in a game 7 times, but never the hat trick.
Nope, never had 3. Twice this year, so up to 9 on his career now with 2 homer ball games. 0-1 count. Barbado's delivery, and that's going to be taken away. Yankees got that run in the second inning, and they actually had a lead in the ball game, but it didn't last. Didi Gregorius with the RBI. Trumbo tied it up with a homer in the second, unearned run in the fourth, and then the 2-run homer by Trumbo in the fifth. That's been the scoring. Barbato with a 1-1 delivery, and that'll go into the shift. Castro is there, makes the play. Wieters is retired. A 1-2-3 inning. Now the Orioles will look to put the Yankees away and come away with a W. Brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Gary Thornton and Jim Palmer as the Orioles take it to the ninth inning with a 4-1 lead, looking for their 15th win.
So fastball, slider pitcher. Always tinkers with a changeup, hardly ever throws it. So again, he gave up. He's had 10 scoreless appearances in a row. Gave up 3 runs on Saturday night. Home run to Todd Frazier. That's how the ERA got to where it is. And again, lefties, righties, right around 200. Fly ball pitcher. And then the Orioles, along with Darren O'Day, looking for 3 outs.
Darren is 1 for 2 in save opportunities this year. A 4-1 lead in this ball game. Beltran will lead it off. Castro and then Didi Gregorius. A base hit, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Ninth inning. Day's delivery is right over his head for a base hit. Well, Beltran ready on that one and puts it away. Visit MASNsports.com/CareFirst to vote for tonight's Care First Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with a name trusted for over 75 years. Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah, you can be deceptive like Darren O'Day, and you can drop down. You don't see that arm angle, but he's very. I mean, he's human in the sense that if you leave balls in the middle of the plate, which is what happened on Saturday night, and the White Sox had some good at bats, or right there, these are big league hitters. And as we mentioned, Castro coming into this game was their hotter, 12 for his last 25.
Starlin Castro with nobody out, runner on at first base. Sit into 2 double plays in this game. Defensive changes. Rickards moved to right field from left. Trumbo out, and Reimold has come on to play in left field. Castro, the 0-1 count, just looking to get on base any way he can, get this lineup turned over. Yankees facing a 6-game losing streak if they can't come back in this. 0-1 delivery, a sweeping breaking ball in the inside corner for a strike.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of history. Probably, 2 years ago when the Orioles were in Chicago. Spent a week, first 3 against the White Sox, off day, and then against the Cubbies. Castro went 0 for 1. And again, Darren O'Day, more of a fly ball pitcher. 5% to 35% on the ground, and maybe 45% on the ground. So he's. But it'd be nice if Castro would bounce into another double play.
2-strike count. O'Day's delivery to him. That one's going to go to left field. It'll hang up. Raimel Dezea, runner halfway, will go back. One away. Let's take a look at this state in baseball history here in the 9th inning. For the Orioles, his name, Buster Narum. He homered in his only at-bat with the Orioles. He would go back down to the minors, not to be seen again. And in 1982, Mike Flanagan, a minimum 27 batters in an Orioles 6-0 win in that ball game. He got helped out in that game. He gave up 3 hits, a walk, but there were 2 double plays, a pickoff, and a caught stealing. And Mike Flanagan was able to get through that game. Mike, from other ball games here, you see working against the Pirates, but Flanagan part of a lot of Orioles history, and that was one of those games on this date. And we always miss him.
Do we ever?
Didi Gregorius, RBI base hit. He has struck out twice. O'Day's got a perfect mark against the Yankees in his career. He is 5-0 for a record and 1 for 1 in save chances. Trying to make it 2 for 2. 1-0 count. That one towards center. Jones coming, makes the running catch. Adam Jones on Didi Gregorius, 2 outs.
Well, again, the position on the ball on the plate is going to say whether they're going to get hit hard or not. I mean, this is another line drive, but here comes Adam. But it's very much like the ball that he's able to catch and throw out Jimmy Rollins at the plate the other night.
Pitcher with a salute.
Yeah. I think
center fielder.
I think Darren would rather have him hit it softer, but at one of his guys, but he'll take it. Sometimes you get into those ruts where you just don't get the ball where you want it.
So the Orioles, 1 more out. They get the win. Chase Headley, runner goes. Defensive indifference as Beltran ends up down at second base. There are 2 away. The Orioles are looking for their 6th straight win against the Yankees. In those games, including this one, they have held the Yankees to 14 runs in the last 6 games and have won them all. 0-1 delivery on the way will be inside. The Orioles have not won 6 straight over the Yankees since an 8-game streak. You got to go back to 96 and 97. The last time the Orioles have done that. And Buck Showalter, eyes down, waiting for the crowd to applaud. A final out. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away. Beltran on at second base. That ball in the air to center. Adam Jones has it lined up, and this ball game is history. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Orioles come away with a win. Trumbo a 2-homer, 3 RBI game. Chris Tillman gets the victory. He's now 3-1. Severino takes the loss. He is 0-4. And O'Day will pick up the save. The Orioles over the Yankees 4-1.